Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of our story. If you like this What If story and want to see part 2, let me know in the comments below. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check the description for more great content and my playlist. This story was posted by MullinLiam on Wattpad. Now let's start. Third person's POV. After waiting for what felt like forever, young Izuku was taken to a quirk specialist to figure out why his quirk hasn't yet come in. He wasn't worried. He knew no matter why or what, his quirk was going to be awesome. He was going to be a great hero. But then he got the news. Sorry kid, it isn't going to happen. You are quirkless. After hearing that, he was stunned. He didn't hear much else as his world was shattered. But why? Everyone I know has a quirk, why don't I? He thought to himself as his mother took him home. In his depressed state, he just sat in front of his computer watching All Might videos, asking again and again, why don't I get a quirk? Did I do something wrong? Was I bad and I'm being punished? Tears forming in his eyes, he couldn't understand it. That night his mother would come to him and find him crying as he watched the videos. Izuku, are you alright? She asked, worried for her precious cinnamon roll. He turned, showing his tear-flooded eyes. Why, Mom? Why don't I get a quirk? Why aren't I special? Inko began to cry as she knelt and hugged her son. I don't know why you didn't get a quirk, honey, but never say you're not special. Because you're so very special to me. He slows the tears for a moment to ask his mother, can I really not be a hero, all because I'm quirkless, mommy? Knowing her son's greatest dream was on precarious steps and not wanting to shatter it completely, Inko decides to smile as she cried. I'm sorry you didn't get a quirk, Izu, but I truly believe you don't need one to be a hero. You may not be like All Might, but you can be a hero no matter what. Izuku clutched his chest as he smiled, crying harder. Are really, mommy? You mean it? Inko smiled as she hugged her son. Yes, Izu, I mean it with all my heart. I will find a way to help you become a hero. Izuku jumped up and hugged her as they both cried, smiling. What? Quirkless? What's that even mean, Deku? Growled Katsuki Bakugo after being told Izuku won't get a quirk. Izuku explains with a bright smile. Well, Kaken, it means I won't get any superpowers. But that's okay. I will still be a hero. Mommy says I don't need superpowers. I may not be like All Might, super strong or nothing. But I will be a hero, Kaken. He says with a cheery giggle. Katsuki couldn't understand it, but he knew one thing. Deku was a useless freak. I knew it. You aren't even normal. You're just a freak. Stay the hell away from me, Deku. You won't be a hero. So go away and never bother me again, stupid brat. He yelled at Izuku, making him cry. But WWI? Asked Izuku. All Katsuki did was smile viciously as his hands popped. Because I hate the weak. He snarled as he punched Izuku and walked away with a smile. Izuku cried all the way home, not understanding why his friend did that. What did I do, Kaken? I thought we were friends. Friends don't hurt each other, do they? After getting home, he laid down and went to sleep, too hurt by what Kaken said and too tired to deal with it. Maybe tomorrow he'll apologize and Kaken will be his friend again. Years later. 6 years and Kaken still won't be his friend. A few years after he did those things, he began bullying everyone but Izuku. He'd bully with his quirk. To teach that quirkless runt his place. Under his feet like all the weak belong. He would tell him every time he attacked him. But through it all, Izuku always smiled, no matter how hurt, upset, or sad he was. That diamond bright, hope-filled smile never left his face. He never told his mom or Katsuki's, and after he turned 7, he stopped visiting Kaken's house. To limit the beatings. One night he started having these weird dreams. A voice would speak and ask him things. Then he started fighting these weird shadow creatures. He would always wake up after feeling a bit tired but stronger. Not sure what it was, he chalked it up to his mind wanting to help his body become a hero. After a few months of this, a tragedy would change his life forever. After a vicious beating by Katsuki that left him battered, bloody, and burnt, he began his long trek home. But to his surprise, he saw the weird shadow creatures from his dreams. They were crawling into his window. In a moment of panic, Izuku ran. Running up the steps of the apartments, he sped his way to his door. It was smashed open. He slowly pushed it and he saw the creatures swarmed around his mother. Her breathing was ragged, blood was everywhere. She saw little Izuku, her ray of sunshine that she loved with all her heart. "Run, Izu. Get out of here, don't let them," was all she got out before they attacked again. Izuku screamed and cried, but then something happened. His body raced forward. He didn't even have time to think before he was by her side punching and throwing his backpack trying to save his mother, the only one he had left in this world. "I won't let you take her. I'll stop you," he roared, but one hit from one of the shadows sent him flying into a wall as his mother looked on, mortified that she and now her 𝐶𝐻𝐿 will die at the hands of these monsters. "Please no. Please someone save my baby boy. Don't let him die. Please," she yelled in her mind as more creatures swarmed her boy. Izuku tried to stand. This pain was way worse than any 𝐀𝐮𝐿 did to him. What do I do? I have to save mommy, but I can barely move. If only I had the strength to save her. I can't let mommy die. He yelled, starting to stand, when suddenly in a flash the world went gray. Everything stopped. The monsters, his mommy, everything except him. "What's happening?" he asked as suddenly a voice deep and strong spoke. "Young Izuku, the time has come. You fought so hard, even without a power, all this time, and you never lost hope. Do not lose hope now, young Izuku." The voice spoke loud. It vibrated in his chest. Who are you?" Izuku shouted to the air as he looked for the speaker when the voice spoke again. "I, young 𝐴𝐻𝐿, am your quirk. I am called the 𝐴𝐻𝐿 Keyblade. Now it is the time for you to fight, young 𝐴𝐻𝐿. Not the time for questions." Izuku still unsure of himself. "But I am quirkless. Everyone says so," he said teary-eyed. "Young 𝐴𝐻𝐿, I do not lie. I am your quirk. I have lain dormant inside you all this time until you became strong and determined to fight with your very life on the line. Now I will explain later. Right now let's save your mother." "Hey." The voice boomed as Izuku nodded and time started up again. Inko, with her life fading and panic in her heart, screamed as her son was swarmed and covered by those shadows when suddenly, in the center of the monsters, a small beam formed that grew and grew. In an explosion of light with a bestial roar, her baby boy stood, covered in bruises and scrapes, with a giant key-looking thing in his hand. It had a blue handle and green guard, a golden mouse-shaped keychain and appeared to be a sword of some type. "I won't let you kill my mommy," he roared as he charged the monsters. He moved so fast, and in mere moments he destroyed dozens of the monsters. When they died, they exploded into smoke as a heart flew from their bodies. Izu, Ichao," she asked as he cried, holding her hand. "It's my quirk, mommy. Now hush. The ambulance is coming. Please, mommy, be all right. I need you so much," he cried as he saw the light flicker on and off in his mother's eyes. She smiled as her face grew pale and her body cold. "We'll be okay, my baby boy. As long as you live, mommy will be happy. You fought so hard for mommy. Thank you, Izuku, my son. Become a hero," she said as she started to fade. Izuku hugged her tight, begging her to stay, telling her he loved her. "Mommy, please, I love you. Please stay with me. Don't go," he begged frantically as tears fell. He felt a hand on his face. "It's okay. I love you, my hero," she said as her hand dropped to the ground, leaving Izuku all alone holding her as he cried. Several minutes later, the ambulance and police arrived. They were unable to help Inko. She had passed and Izuku was left all alone. He sat in an ambulance being bandaged as a few heroes arrived to try and understand what happened. He felt a paw on his hand as he gazed at his home, feeling like a failure. "Young man, are you all right?" he heard the voice beside him say. He looked and saw a dog, bear, mouse thing. "Mommy is gone. I got my quirk finally but couldn't save her," he told the animal. "I'm sorry, young man, but I don't understand. My name is Nezu. I am a hero. Can you tell me what happened?" Izuku looked at this hero animal thing called Nezu as his body felt exhausted. He smiled as tears fell. "Mommy's gone," he said as he passed out in a heap onto Nezu. Katsuki Bakugo was having a bad day. Her son came home louder and angrier than ever, screaming about her friend's son who she saw as a nephew, the little ball of sunshine Izuku. She tried to be patient with the boy, but he just wouldn't stop. They argued for hours before the phone rang. A call that would shatter her heart. Her best friend and nephew were attacked. Inko didn't make it, but thank God Izuku was alive. He was badly beaten, leaving him bleeding, covered in cuts, bruises, and burns. As a hero tried to talk to him while the paramedics worked on his wounds, he passed out. Now Mitsuki and Masaru are at the hospital with Katsuki grumbling and complaining about why they have to visit that DMN Deku. She couldn't bring herself to tell him his auntie died today. They waited until finally he had woken up. They were allowed into the room with Izuku and spoke to him. Mitsuki crying and hugging her nephew. "Izu, what happened? Are you okay?" She friend. Before Izuku spoke so softly. "Mommy died, auntie. I couldn't save her." Mitsuki's heart was breaking for him. This little boy who always smiled, was so kind and polite to everyone, already was dealt a bad hand by being quirkless. She knew some kids at school hurt him for it, but what she didn't know was her son lead them all. Katsuki heard those words. "Mommy died." His anger and sadness soared as he grabbed Izuku's shoulder and yelled at him. "Damn it, Deku. But why did your weak but get auntie killed, you stupid, useless, quirkless freak?" He roared, shocking his parents, but then he started to use his quirk on Izuku. Didn't react to the burns. Katsuki Bakugo, shut the F up and back off. Mitsuki yelled as she pulled on her son. "No F this Deku. He got auntie killed 'cause he's weak, just like I always tell him. I'll kill him for that." He yelled when suddenly a heavy hand slapped him, sending him careening back into his mom. He stood enraged, ready to kill whoever it was. Katsuki Bakugo, shut your goddamn mouth. You don't know what happened and you seem to not care about Izuku's pain. But he just lost his mom and you threatened to kill him, you little punk. Rared a very angry Masaru as he held Izuku, who just looked dead inside. "I don't need to know. If that SHT had a power he could have saved. But no. He's a freak of nature. He's less than human. He got auntie killed, I know it." Suddenly a pressure filled the room as Izuku looked straight at Bakugo. "I have had enough out of you, Katsuki Bakugo. I just lost my mother. For 6 years you have bullied me and called me names. Used your quirk on me and roared about your Fing greatness. I still smiled and thought of you as a friend. Now I have a quirk and even with it I couldn't save my mother. So you listen well, Katsuki Bakugo. Leave my sight now. Because if I ever see you again," bellowed Izuku with a voice full of pain and power. A light shone in his hand as he continued. "I will Fing murder you. Your power is nothing, you arrogant punk. Now leave before I do what should have been done to you years ago, you villainous bully." This is what broke Mitsuki. "𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Why you didn't do that, alright? Tell me you didn't do what Izuku says you did." Katsuki, scared by Izuku but not wanting to show it, yelled to his parents. "So what if I did? The quirkless freak Fing deserved it for being so weak." He yelled before a hand gripped his throat and raised him off the ground. "So, you think you're strong, Katsuki?" asked Masaru in a venomous tone. Katsuki, scared, began to squirm as his dad looked at him with rage in his eyes. "Then let's see you stop me from throwing your butt through that Fing door, you little—" he yelled as he pulled his arm back before a voice filled the room. "Enough. This is a hospital. Not the time or the place for this." Everyone looked at the door and saw a tired-looking man glaring at them with red eyes as his hair glowed, with a weird animal in a suit on his shoulder and a police detective standing beside him. "I am Shoyuda Aizawa. The rat is Principal Nezu of UA High. The man beside me is Detective Tsukachi. You three wait out here with me. Nezu and Tsukachi will talk with the boy." He asked in a threatening tone that left no room for arguments. The Bakugos all slowly nodded as they went out. "Hello, young man. Do you remember me?" asked Nezu calmly. Izuku looked at him with those cold, dead eyes. "We talked at my home." Nezu gave a soft smile. "Yes, we did. I'm sorry for your loss, young Midoriya. I wish it never came to be, but we all heard what you and that brat said. This detective will wish to speak with you on what happened today that led to your mother's passing. Can you talk on it?" Izuku nodded slowly. The detective began his questions and Izuku answered them all. He told them everything. From when he got up to Katsuki bullying him to coming home seeing his mother be attacked. To gaining his quirk. Everything. Tsukachi and Nezu were angry at that Bakugo boy and saddened to learn that even when gaining power Izuku still couldn't help his mother. I'm sorry young Midoriya. To be bullied and abused by all these people. To lose the one person who matters most even after gaining extraordinary power. I'm so sorry. He looked at Tsukachi and knew every word Izuku said was true. Izuku, how long have you been bullied? Can you tell us about it? All of it. Izuku sighed, crying as he told them everything. Showed them all his scars. Then after a while Nezu spoke. I will punish that boy severely. He will be banned from ever becoming a hero. Izuku didn't care anymore. He was done dealing with Bakugo and his bullshit. Do what you want to Katsuki. Just don't do anything to Aunt Mitsuki and Uncle Masu. They never knew. I hid it from them and stopped going there when I was 7 so they wouldn't find out. Please Nezu. He asked as Nezu smiled. Okay little one. I promise. Tsukachi. Tell them to come inside now. Tsukachi did as asked and let the rest inside. After 45 minutes they had told everything about today and even Katsuki behavior. How dare you Fing brat. Izuku never hurt a soul. He always is so kind and polite. So helpful. What did he ever Fing do to make you think it was okay to hurt him like that? Katsuki sneered, crying as he was caught not because he did wrong. Nothing. He did nothing but be born weak. Nezu snarled. Weak you say? This weak boy has a quirk far greater than yours will ever be boy. He survived everything you threw at him with a smile. He defeated dozens of creatures that your quirk wouldn't hurt. He nearly died protecting his mother. You would have died fighting even one. Tell me Katsuki Bakugo. How does that make Izuku Midoriya weak? He said in a terrifyingly calm voice. Katsuki laughed. No way that Deku beat anything. I bet he begged for them to stop like he always did with me. He's weak and pathetic, he never even fought back against me. No way any monsters exist that I couldn't beat. You lie rat. He yelled back before Aizawa snatched the boy up with his scarf and snarled while using his quirk. Listen here you arrogant little 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 may lie about things to mess with people but every Fing word he told you're villainous but was fact. That detective has a lie detector quirk. So stop acting like a brat and realize how fed you are right now. Look at your parents. You see the look of hate and disgust they show you. Well, get used to it. You are a villain and nothing more. He roared as he tossed him down. Katsuki cried, no, that's impossible. I am a hero, not a villain. I can beat anyone. I never lose. You lie hobo. He screamed when suddenly a pressure filled the room, choking Katsuki and dropping him to his knees. He looked up and saw Izuku standing before him with his key blade aimed at his throat. Stop your bullshit Katsuki. It's time you learned facts that you aren't a hero and never will be. You are nothing more than a prideful villain with too much ignorance to see the truth. Mitsuki walked up to Izuku. Don't. Do not sink to that pathetic exus of a child's level. She said as she pulled Izuku into a hug and glared at Katsuki. From this day on Katsuki, you are not our son. She said with hate and sadness in her heart. Come on Izuku, let's go sit down. I'm sure your mom wouldn't want you to take vengeance on Katsuki. She said as they went to the bed. Katsuki looked on crying as he sat, jaw dropped open. Katsuki Bakugo. No, just Katsuki. You are hereby blacklisted by all hero schools and will be facing the consequences of your actions. You will be forced to wear quirk-canceling bracelets. You will serve time in juvenile detention. At 14, if you do not ever abuse or bully anyone or break the law from this day on, you can come to UA, but you will not be allowed to enter the hero course. Only general studies. But if any time between now and then you bully anyone, you will be facing criminal charges. You will not be allowed to enter the sports festival. You will enter therapy with Hound Dog. You will do community service at homeless shelters and charities for the quirkless. You get to watch as Izuku Midoriya becomes a hero. But your dream is gone, villain. Never to be achieved. Do you understand me, boy? Said Nezu as Katsuki just curled into a ball and cried. He nodded his head. Tsukachi took Bakugo away and left the rest to talk. Mrs. Bakugo, does Izuku have anywhere to stay? She shook her head. He only had his mother. His father died when he was. I'd offer him to stay with us, but I don't feel like we have the right to do that. We let him suffer so long not knowing what our own flesh and blood did to him. She said, crying as she hugged Izuku and apologized to him. It wasn't your fault, Auntie. I never told you to or Mommy, said Izuku, trying to comfort him. Nezu had an idea. Then I'll adopt him. Every weekend until Katsuki is out of juvenile corrections he will stay with you too. But I will have him for the weekdays. Is this agreeable? While Masaru cried, hugging both Izuku and Mitsuki, he turned to Nezu. We don't want to make Izuku lose his only family. We may not be blood, but this boy means the world to us. He was always a ball of sunshine that made us feel better no matter how bad he felt. He cared so much about others. He withstood the pain with a smile. He is strong. Inko would be so proud of him. Nezu and Aizawa smiled as Mitsuki and Izuku cried with happy tears. Your mom was right, you know. You are going to be a great hero. You may not have kept her alive, but you fought demons no one in this room could beat to try and save her. You saved her spirit, if not her life. You are our little hero and no one will ever tell us otherwise. This made Izuku cry so hard but so happy that everyone was tearing up. Even Aizawa and Nezu. Izuku, we will take you to my office at UA and get the adoption papers signed. Aizawa will gather all your things and the Bakugos will store all your mother's things for you except anything you wish to keep with you. Is that okay? Izuku nodded before he turned. Can I have Mommy's necklace? It's a white star flower I got her for her birthday last year. She wore it every day. Anything Mommy meant for me to have when I grew up also. Mitsuki chuckled. Yes, little Aizu. We will take care of it all. Nezu, thank you so much. For everything. Even the punishments for Katsuki. I don't know how anyone could hurt my beloved nephew like that. Especially over something he had no control over. She said, smiling at Izuku. Nezu smiled. You're welcome. I wouldn't be a hero if I didn't do the right thing, now would I? They giggled and nodded. As they all got ready to leave, Mitsuki and Masaru hugged Izuku. Your mother may be gone, Izuku. But her spirit lives on. You are her living legacy and she will watch over you. Remember this, my little hero. We love you and accept you for who you are. We will never hurt you or neglect you. Every weekend we will do our best to show you our love for you. We will make sure Inko's last wish is fulfilled. As a mother, I know she would want you to be happy, to not blame yourself, to live your life and accomplish your dreams. Stay strong, Izuku. Keep that brilliant smile, my little ball of sunshine. Always remember that like your mother we will always love you. She said as her and Masaru hugged him. She is right, sport. You will grow into an amazing young man. Keep that heart and keep your mother's memory inside you. We will never let what our son did to you happen again. To you or anyone ever again if we can help it. You stood up to Katsuki, that takes strength. You fought demons and won. How could we not love you and not be inspired by you? We will guard your mother's things and give you all she wanted you to have. I love you, little man, so chin up for us and your mother. Izuku could feel it. They spoke the truth. Every word. After hugging them, he began heading with Aizawa and Nezu to UA. Problem child. I may not wear my heart on my sleeves. I am stern and harsh on people, but I will help you become the hero your mother knew you to be. Your aunt and uncle are wonderful people. They meant what they said and we will help you as best as we can. Izuku smiles. Thank you, everyone. I'm so happy I have such amazing family. Even you, Uncle Zawa. He said with a brilliant smile, making Aizawa smile genuinely for the first time in years. I'd be honored to be your uncle, problem nephew. He said as Nezu watched on with pride. Oboro, it's as if you gave your spirit to this boy. Even Aizawa came out of his shell from this boy's kindness. Oh, how I wish you could see it. After reaching UA, Nezu walked Izuku to his office and called all the staff to him as Aizawa left to collect Izuku's things. The staff entered very confused. Midnight and 13, after seeing the boy, both rushed up and hugged him. Oh, who is this little cutie Nezu? Asked Namuri Kayama. Midnight. 13 aka Nenku rose, hugging Izuku. I don't know who he is, but this cutie needs hugs. And lots of them. Nezu smiled sadly and told them his story as Midnight and 13 cried, hugging him as he hugged back, crying too. The rest of the staff stood there tearing up. This young boy fought monsters that literally only his quirk could defeat, all in a last stand to save his mother right after his quirk finally appeared. Even after how so many said he was useless. This boy is going to be something big. We must protect him and help him grow. They all thought. Nezu agreed. I am going to adopt him. Every weekend one of you will go with him to stay with his aunt and uncle. They are friends of his mother, but they truly love this boy and want to make sure he never feels alone. They wish to atone for the actions their despicable son did to him. They didn't feel like they had the right to adopt him, but agreed to stay in his life and help fulfill a mother's wish. We must train this boy in case those monsters appear again. We know nothing about them, but hopefully if they do he will be ready. He has the heart of a true hero and we must foster its growth. They all agreed. Aizawa returned with Izuku's possessions and the things his mother wanted him to have. He went to Nezu's office with a stack of notebooks and a proud smile on his face. This boy had analysis of dozens of heroes, and from what he could tell he was almost always over 90% correct. He saw Izuku sitting in Nomuri's lap eating a snack when he walked in. Nezu, you have to see these. They're amazing. He said, making Izuku blush as he knew what Aizawa had in his hands. He muttered, they're nothing special. Just a hobby of mine. Nezu read some of them. My goodness, Izuku. Your talent for analysis is like nothing I've ever seen. Everyone stood stunned. He impressed Nezu with that. Holy hell. No one ever has impressed him with analysis of heroes. Nezu smiled. Izuku, I read your analysis of every staff member. I do not know how you knew about all of us, but your theories on our quirks are amazingly accurate, as are your ideas for support gear for us. Nezu showed the staff their own analyses, blowing their minds. Why, you really think so, Nezu? He asked as all the heroes stared at Izuku in awe. I know so, Izuku Midoriya. We will take you out of Aldra Middle School and teach you ourselves. Everyone will. Even Lunch Rush will teach you how to cook. Power Loader will teach you how to make support gear. Aizawa will train you in your quirkless fighting and how to use your Keyblade along with Vlad King. The rest will teach you the lessons needed to complete school. Then at 14 you will be able to take the recommended or standard entrance exam. Your choice. Izuku cried. Why are you all helping me? I'm just a quirkless nobody. He said as Midnight looked at him. Izuku Midoriya. You are not quirkless nor a nobody. You truly are special. A rare once-in-a-generation type of hero. It would be our honor to help you grow. To become what your mother saw. A mighty hero who makes her proud. So little Izuku, never look down on yourself. Be proud. Stand with confidence and show this world no matter what it throws at you, nothing will take you down without a hell of a fight. As she spoke, she dropped her Midnight personality that the others keep mistaking for the real her. They remembered she's a very smart and kind woman underneath that faux perverse hero personality. Izuku smiled and cried. He had a chance. He was blessed. Mother, I miss you, but I'll do as you always told me I could. I will become a hero. With so many beside me willing to help me, how can I turn that down? They all smiled, proud of this little cinnamon roll. Knowing he will change their lives for the better. Forever they will watch over him and guide him in the path. This is Izuku Midoriya's story, the true Keyblade 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴. The warrior of light that shines as bright as the rising sun. Watch as he becomes the greatest hero this world's ever seen. One day Ochako Uraraka was walking to do some shopping for necessities. She recently moved into an apartment near UA to train for and take the entrance exam. As she walked, her mind raced with doubts, afraid of failing. She feared it greatly, but thankfully managed to graduate middle school early. She just needed to study and train. Sighing, she felt guilty for doubting herself, as she knew she had to keep the promise she made her parents. They sacrificed so much for her. Now on her own, she didn't know what to do in order to reach her goal. As she walked down a street, she wasn't paying attention as a green sludge slowly began to follow her. Once she got under an overpass, it leapt onto her. She tried to scream as the sludge filled her throat. Don't struggle, girlie. I just need to borrow your body for a moment. said the sludge as she felt her consciousness fade. She heard before passing out. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. She was hurting when she woke up to someone gently slapping her face. She groaned as she opened her eyes to see All Might looking at her with a concerned smile. Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid we lost you there, kiddo. I'm sorry my 𝐴𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 got in the way. Are you okay? She blinked a few times before realizing the situation. She jumped up thanking All Might for saving her as she saw the sludge monster in a pair of bottles. You're welcome, young miss. As long as you are all right, I need to get this guy to the police. Stay safe, young lady, and may you have a great day. He bellowed to her as he leapt away. Oh, thank goodness All Might was here. I could have. She shook her head to get rid of the thoughts. Before remember her reason for being here. She took off to go buy her things. Izuku Midoriya was shopping when he got a text from All Might, as he had known about him and his true form since a little while after his injury. Young Midoriya, if you are still there in the shopping district, can you keep an eye out for a brunette girl with a bob haircut and permanent blush on her cheeks? She was attacked by the sludge guy I was chasing. I saved her, but my time limit was up. Thanks, Toshi, he sighed. Dang it, All Might, I keep warning you not to use your hero form for so long. Oh well, guess I have a girl to find and look after, he said as he began walking around, keeping his eyes peeled when suddenly screams erupted down the street. He ran to see a crowd formed as a villain made of sludge threw vehicles at heroes and causing destruction. Damn it, you let him get away worrying about your time limit, he hissed as he pushed his way to the front of the crowd. He looked at the heroes panicking as vehicles exploded, catching buildings on fire. God damn it, Ochako. You couldn't even save one little boy, now you're caught by this villain again. How did he get away from All Might? She cursed herself as her and a small boy was caught inside the villain. Heroes unable to reach her, she saw the fear in this boy's eyes and began to cry. You thought you could be a hero, yet you can't do anything, you stupid fool. Now you and this boy are going to die as everyone watches on. I'm sorry, Dad, I failed you. She bellowed in her mind, crying before she saw it. Damn it, none of us have the right quirks to stop this guy. If only I was stronger, grumbled Death Arms as he and several heroes panicked and watched on. A few tried rescuing people and putting out the fires, but they did nothing to help the children. Suddenly a massive pressure filled the air, stopping everyone, even the villain. How dare you call yourselves heroes? You're just like chickens running around with your heads cut off. Will you seriously do nothing as they die right in front of your eyes? Roared Izuku as he stepped forward. Fine, I will do what you cowardly fakes refuse to do and take this guy down. Have no fear, young ones, for I will be your hero this day. He bellowed, summoning his keyblade and rushing towards the sludge villain at inhuman speeds. The heroes screamed at him, but Izuku didn't care. A young woman and a small boy needed him. 𝐶𝐮𝐿𝐴. I'll kill you, you stupid boy. They are mine, yelled the sludge villain, raising a tentacle shaped as a giant hand. But before he could slam his fist down, Izuku sped through him, leaving a massive hole, holding the girl and boy in one arm as he raised his blade to the villain. You will kill no one. This is the day you get brought to justice, coward, he said as he set the two down, smiling. Stay here, you two. I will handle this guy and be back before you know it, he said with a wink as the girl blushed and the boy coughed up sludge, then smiled. Hey, nice lady. Look where I saved, the boy said shakily. Ochako watched on in awe as their savior walked forward, dodging tentacles like they're nothing. I know not how you escaped, All Might villain. I know not why so many heroes stand by and watch you murder kids, but I do know today it ends. I'll stop you here and now. He roared, conviction filling his powerful voice, and his eyes glowed with fighting spirit. He rushed the villain, jumped up and slashed at his eyes before stabbing the keyblade into his gut. Ha, I've got you now, punk. You can't escape me. Now die. He roared as he threw his fist. Wrong. I've got you. Now enjoy your time out, Izuku said with a smile as he summoned his magic. Blizzard. He yelled as in a flash the temperature dropped. What's happening? Screamed the villain as he started to freeze, leaving him a 𝐶𝐮𝐿𝐴. Now feel the wrath of a keyblade enter. Sonic blade. He yelled as he rushed and slashed the villain in the blink of an eye. The air pressure resulted in everyone being blown back and the fires immediately get blown out. Everyone started to stand up and look on as standing in the road the boy stood blade raised in hand. That is the difference between our power and our hearts. He yelled before quickly grabbing the girl and little boy. Are you two okay? He asked in a sweet voice while smiling at them and carrying them to an ambulance. They looked at this young man in awe of his strength and his courage. My hero, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 thought as Izuku smiled. Well, I'm glad I could be your hero, Mississippi. But more glad you two are still here. The young boy hugged him and thanked him as he cried. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 blushed, not realizing she said that out loud. But she felt so safe in his strong, gentle arms. After reaching the ambulance, he sat them down only for Death Arms to stomp his way over and start scolding the boy. Still smiling at the two he saved, the pressure returned. How dare you try and scold me, fake? At least 4 of you could have saved these two, but you did nothing but cry about being weak. If I did not act, they'd been dead in 10 more seconds. Open your eyes and think on why you want to be a hero. Is it to help people or just for fame and a paycheck? People be dead. He said in a sweet, innocent voice but filled with power, a power like no other. Death Arms balked at this as Izuku turned around. You with your strength could have grabbed them and pulled them to safety, then punched his eyes and or mouth, the only solid parts of him. Backdraft could have used his hoses to blast the two out of there, then filled him full of water. 𝐴𝐵 could have grabbed them even though was so far away. Hell, even 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 could have done more. But no, what did you do? Nothing, that's what. Open your mouths to scold the one who did your jobs for you after saving 2 innocents. You are all fools who need to relearn what it means to be a hero. Now leave us, they need medical attention and I will not stand here and let you scare them, and you cannot intimidate me. The heroes froze up knowing he was right. They grumbled and walked away as Izuku stayed with them until they were played to go. Mr. Green Man. Thank you for saving me. This nice lady tried but wasn't able to. But she really did try. She was so brave. But you did what no one else did and saved us. Thank you. He bowed as suddenly a voice was heard rushing up. Oh my God, are you okay? The woman, obviously his mother, rushed up teary-eyed and hugging the boy. I'm okay, mommy. Thanks to nice lady and Mr. Green Man here. Izuku smiled at her. It was the right thing to do, ma'am. I am Izuku Midoriya. From what little guy here says, this young woman acted first and did her best to save him before I managed to get here. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 blushed deeply at the praise. Fu's mother looked at them and smiled. Thank you. Both of you. Even if you didn't save him, young lady, you at least tried to do so. That means a lot. Midoriya, thank you so much. I don't know what I'd have done without Fu here. He's my only family. Izuku smiled. It was the right thing to do. I couldn't stand by while having the power to help and watch these two die. You're welcome, ma'am, and you too, Fu. As well as you, young Mississippi. He trailed off as 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 realized she never gave her name. I'm 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and thank you, Midoriya. She said, blushing and bowing. The two heroes to be spoke with Fu and his mother for a moment before they had to go. Bye, you two. Stay safe. He yelled as he waved. Well, Miss 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Twice now you met that sludge villain. I only was here because All Might told me to keep an eye out for you. I'm happy you tried to save little Fu. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 paled at his words. He knew All Might. All Might asked him to watch out for me. Oh, you knew about that. Sorry I wasn't able to help Fu. She said sadly. Izuku giggled. Why do you doubt yourself, Miss 𝐬𝐴𝐵? She was embarrassed at his formal speech but spoke. You see, I came here to be a hero. To train and get into UA to help my parents. To earn the money I need to give my parents the safe life they deserve after sacrificing so much for me. We own a failing construction company and I always wanted to help them, but they would not agree. They want me to follow my dream as a kid. Izuku hummed as they walked. So you feel like you are a failure and a fake. While yes, you are financially motivated, it's because you love your parents and want to give them an easy life. That's rather noble. But ask yourself this, Miss 𝐬𝐴𝐵. Did you have any motives to try and save that boy, or did you just want to save a boy in danger and your body move on its own? She stopped a moment and pondered over his words. I just reacted. A small boy needed help and I tried to help. But She was cut off by Izuku holding his hand up. Do you see, Miss Uraraka? No one offered you money to save him. No one promised you fame if you saved him. You did what you knew had to be done. Yes, you did not succeed this time, but you are no failure nor fake. Deep down under those doubts and fears lies a heroic heart. So, Miss Uraraka, tell me, do you still want to go to UA? She was tearing up. Heroic heart? Really? Do I still want to go to UA? She thought it over fast before deciding. She nodded. Yes, Mr. Midoriya, I do. He smiled brightly at her, that smile. Well, Miss Uraraka, how would you like an opportunity to train with me and develop your strength to get into the heroics course? She stared wide-eyed and mouth open. Why, you mean it? Why, you will help me get in? Izuku smiled. Before placing his hand in front of her. I don't often get impressed, Miss Uraraka. But your heart to save that boy regardless the cost to you has impressed me. I warn you, it will be 10 months of hell. If you are willing, then take my hand. Join me and together we will be heroes. She cried. She cried a lot. No one has ever bothered to try and help her. Yet this boy not only saved her with no thoughts of reward only because it's the right thing. Now he wants to help her achieve her goal. Who is this handsome angel before her? I'll do it, Mr. Midoriya. Thank you, I will do my best to not disappoint you no matter what. She said as she grabbed and shook his hand. But what do we do to train? Izuku smiled. Well, first I take you home. Then tomorrow meet at Dagoba Municipal Beach at 5 a.m. It's a landfill now and we will clean it. I will get us permission to use our quirks. Still gonna accept? She blushed and shook his hand again, smiling. I can't give up on my dreams so easily. Izuku smiled at her as Ochako blushed bright red, realizing she's still holding his strong yet gentle hand. She let go and was flustered a bit as Izuku laughed. It is nothing, Miss Uraraka. Now let us get you home. You have had a long day and definitely need your rest. He beamed at her as she smiled back. Yeah, let's go, Mr. Midoriya. Though you can call me Uraraka as you want. I'm not all that formal myself. Izuku laughed before looking at her with a smile. Only if you call me Midoriya. I mean, I'm just 14, Mr. Midoriya makes me feel old and icky. He said, forcing a shiver that made her laugh. Okay, Midoriya. A question. What's that smell? Midoriya smiles at her before leaning in close to whisper. That would be the sludge left on you, Uraraka. Sorry for not bringing it up, I didn't want to sound rude. She paled. Oh no. I can't ride a train like this. But what do I do? What do I do? Izuku smiled. Well, if it's a train ride away, how about I give you a piggyback ride and run to your place? I'm faster than a train from here anyway. She blushed nervously. Really? You don't mind? He shook his head. Not at all, Uraraka. It's good exercise to jog daily, you know. Or are you embarrassed at the piggyback ride idea? He said, waggling his eyebrows teasingly. Ochako blushed and activated her quirk, trying to cover her face. Izuku laughed and jumped up to bring her back down. Sorry, Uraraka. He was only trying to lighten the mood, not make you float off into space. After a moment, Ochako calmed down. Sigh, fine, but you owe me after teasing me, mister. Izuku smiles. Well then, tomorrow after finishing training, why don't we hang out at the mall? As penance, he said, making Ochako flush, but she slowly nodded. Very well. It's a deal. No going back on it. Now hop on, we are homeward bound. As soon as you tell me where we're going, that is. He said sheepishly. Ochako looked at him as he knelt down. She wasn't used to piggyback rides from anyone but her dad, but hopped on anyway. Whoa, he's more muscular than I thought. He looked thin for some reason. He blushed. Well, thank you, It's because I wear a size or two larger clothes. Ochako blushed, then buried her head in his muscular back. I said it out loud again. Izuku's sweat dropped. Ochako pointed the way to her home, saying, I live it, as she leaned on his back and Izuku began running there. I know I offered it, but dang, feels weird with her melons pressing into my back. Plus her soft thighs wrapped around. Dang it, Izuku, no pervy thoughts, man, come on. He argued internally as he raced between vehicles at insane speeds. Ochako blushed as she enjoyed the feel of his back and his strong hands holding her up. Before she realized it, the motion of him running made her feel sleepy and she fell asleep on his back, with her head in the crook of his neck as Izuku was beet red, feeling her breath on his neck. Oh boy. Awkward, he thought as he kept racing to her home, lucking out that she had given him the address. Please 𝐻𝗧𝗏, you must wake up. We are at your home now, he said, gently rocking her after setting her down against the wall. She woke up with a start and blushed at how close he was. Phew, you scared me jumping up like that, 𝐻𝗧𝗏. Anyway, we are presently at your address. You had fallen asleep on my back. We've been here for 15 minutes now. She turned strawberry red as she exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry for that, Midoriya." He waved his arms in front of his face, flushing red. "Oh, it is not a problem, just was afraid you wouldn't wake up and we'd be outside all night. Anyway, we are here, so let me give you my number to keep in contact. Feel free to message or call me anytime," he said, showing his number. She put it in her phone and gave him her number too before they waved to each other, and Izuku took off like a shot running home. He really is amazing. Not even tired at all after all he did today. Maybe, just maybe, I can become a hero with his help, she said, going inside to shower and get some sleep. Holy goodness gracious. I know you said it was a landfill, Midoriya, but dang. So much. How will we clean it all? She asked. Izuku smiled. For starters, we grab what we can carry without a quirk for the first month. That will increase your physical strength and stamina. Then after that we use our quirks to train for an hour before we clean more without it. Once we have a good enough amount picked up, we can begin your quirkless fight training. He rambled on about the plan as he wrote it down. After he finished writing it out, he handed it to her. She paled at the workload, but then her biggest worry appeared. Oh no, I don't think I can afford this meal plan. Izuku apparently knew what she was thinking. Don't worry, 𝐻𝗧𝗏. I will pay for the training. All I ask is in return you give it your all, anything you need during the training, such as a meal plan, exercise equipment, and/or hospital visits if necessary. I will pay for that as a sponsorship, and you can pay me back by making it into UA. I won't ask payment, just that you give it your best and make it into UA. Can you do this for me? She tried to argue, but I can't let you do that. You're already helping me so much. I would be too indebted. Izuku laughed. 𝐻𝗧𝗏, listen to me. I will be okay. Besides, I want to give you your best chance to make it. To help you achieve your dream. It is not wrong to accept help. I am not pitying you or anything. I am simply helping my friend achieve her dream. As I said, 𝐻𝗧𝗏, I'm not easily impressed, but those who I deem a friend will get my full help in achieving their dreams. Will you let me help you? She was so worried and still doubting herself, but this boy wanted her to achieve her dream, and WhatIf kindness was willing to sponsor her training. Truly an angel she didn't deserve. She swallowed hard. Okay, Midoriya, but I won't ever make you regret helping me. Midoriya smiled. You never could make me regret it. Now you ready to train like hell and do your best? She paled but nodded. Hours later. Midoriya, I hate you so much. She yelled as she collapsed, dog-tired, as Izuku laughed. Well, I did say it would be hell, didn't I? She pouted as she huffed and puffed. But geez, this is a lot of work. But if I have to do it to be a hero, I will, she said. Izuku laughed as he pulled his shirt off to towel off the sweat. Achiko laid on the sand looking up, trying to catch her breath when Midoriya spoke. Have some water. She groaned as she sat up and saw his body. 𝐻𝗧𝗏𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 rushing Izuku. Ochako paled but grabbed the water and chugged it, trying to avoid talking. Phew, the nectar of the gods. What was this again? What do you say? Anyway, look over there. Izuku laughed as he put a clean shirt on. You know it's fine. No need to be embarrassed. Anyway, ready to head home so can clean up. She sighed, reaching a hand up. Fine, but legs are dead tired again. He giggled. Then hop on, little lady. Izuku Express at your service. He said with an exaggerated bow, making her giggle. They grabbed their bags and she got on his back again. After dropping her off, Izuku ran home. Ochako took a shower and got changed when her phone buzzed. Hey, just got finished on my way back. Hee, I know the perfect place to hang out. You will love it, he said as she laughed. He's always smiling and cheerful. How's he not exhausted after all that training? After he got there, they left and went to the mall. Izuku showed her around a few places before deciding to take her to a new mochi shop for after-training dessert. Here we go, 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐸. I found out about this place a few days ago but never had reason to go. 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐸 stared at the sign, drooling. Wow. Didn't know you liked mochi so much. Do you need a drool cup? Ochako squeaked as she wiped away the drool. Yeah, it's my favorite. Let's go. Hope they have strawberry, she said, rushing in as Izuku sweat dropped. Whoever marries that girl is gonna need a huge wallet, as I have a feeling mochi is gonna be like a daily staple. Though I fear for the poor guy if he can't get her any cost spent too much on it, says Izuku after heading him. Months later. Phew. Finished. Well, Ochako 𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐸, look at what we accomplished in 8 months' time, said Izuku, standing atop a pile of garbage with Ochako beside him. They looked down to the beach in the distance. Yeah, Midoriya-kun. Not a speck of trash left on the beach. We really cleaned it. She looked up at him as in the 8 months he'd grown from 5 feet 5 inches to 6. He smiled down at her as he, quick as a W, put her on his shoulder and jumped down, then bolted to their bags and set her down as she squealed the whole time. Midoriya, warn me next time, she said, blushing as Izuku laughed. He took his dirty sweaty shirt off, showing his new physique. He went from a pretty decent amount of lean muscle to a much more impressive amount. Not buffed up like All Might or anything, but he was in amazing shape, as all the muscle was specifically to aid his new keyblade style. He gained dozens of keyblades in the past 8 months and learned dual wielding. She stared at his powerful chest and arms, drooling at his 8-pack. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸, is something the matter? She shook her head in a daze. Look at all those muscles, and he still has such an adorable childish face. She blinked, noticing his neon red blush. See, I said it out loud again. He blushed also. Izuku chuckled nervously before toweling off and covering up. He'd gotten somewhat used to her complimenting his body, and if he was being honest, he noticed hers as well. She was in amazing shape with a good amount of muscle, but wasn't too much to make her seem less feminine. Most wouldn't assume she had packed on so much muscle, as she looked like a regular girl in a bit of an okay shape. He had grabbed 2 bottles of water, one for him and for her, and handed her the water. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸, take a picture, it'll last longer, he teased as she went wide-eyed and smiled with a blush. Why didn't I think of that, Midoriya? She yelled, pulling out her new phone he got her after her old one got crushed during training. He didn't even have time to react before she was snapping pics. He sighed. Ochako smiled before realizing what she just did. A weird daydream. She laughed nervously. You know what you just did. Anyway, let's head back. Now we focus on your combat with and without a quirk for the rest of the 2 months. Finish that and you get a surprise the day of the exam. She shook her head as she raced after him after picking up her stuff. Is it mochi? She asked. How would that be a surprise? You always get mochi. He laughed before saying, wouldn't be a surprise if I told you what it was, 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸. He laughed as they walked off. Day of the entrance exam. They both woke up and got dressed, rushing to UA. Izuku having decided to take the regular entrance exam, as he wanted to earn his way in. He was walking up to the front gates with his surprise in his pocket to give to her as he heard a squeak and look over to find Ochako falling. In a flash he was there, catching her. After all that time at the beach, you still trip over things, she heard as the familiar safe feeling washed over her. She opened her eyes to see Izuku holding her up. Midoriya. Thanks for catching me. Can you put me down now? He smirked. Depends, you gonna fall again. She blushed and pouted. Meanie. He laughed as he set her down. Before I forget. Here, in case we aren't on same bus to the practical, read that on the bus when we go to the practical exam portion. He pulled the envelope out and handed it to her. Is this the surprise? He smiled as they walked inside. Indeed. Now be patient and wait until we ride to the practical to read it, because it will help you focus during that. Now let's go, the written exams are this way. Ochako raised her fist in the air and shouted, yeah, let's do our best. As they headed in, to her surprise, she did very well on the written. Those months of studies with Izuku really paid off. She finished 20 minutes early and walked to the auditorium where present Mike was going to explain the practical. She found her seat, but when she looked beside her was surprised. "Hey Midoriya, how long you been waiting here?" she screeched out. "Oh, not long. I finished about 15 minutes after the written test started. Then came here," she sweat-dropped. "Midoriya, the written test was 2 hours long. How is that not a long time?" He smiled. "It's all relative. So how did you do?" She smiled and raised her fist up. "I feel like I did really well. We still have 25 minutes before this starts, then the rides to the practical, right?" Izuku nodded. "Hey 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, take the envelope out and read what's inside. I didn't know how long you'd have left after the written, so might as well do that now. You're gonna like it." She smiled at him and nodded. Opening the envelope, a note was inside along with a keychain. She read the note. "Miss Ochako 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, congratulations on surviving 10 months of training with my son. I honestly didn't think anyone could handle that. Anyway, as my son and I agreed 10 months ago. If you manage to complete this incredibly hellish training, then UA High has signed an exclusivity deal with 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 Construction Company. Meaning anytime we build anything, whether for school or staff personal reasons, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 Construction Company will be who we use. Yes, we have 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐵𝐺 on staff, but he is not always available. So we decided to have 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐵𝐺 work in coordination with your family's company. You have done more than just survive 10 months of hell. You did something no person your age or under has done since my son was. You impressed him and earned his trust and friendship. Thank you, Miss Ochako 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, for that, as he has so few friends in this world around his age." Enclosed is a very special keychain. It's a white flower shaped like a star. This keychain was originally a necklace for his late mother. A tale he may tell you someday, but I digress. He decided that you earned it. Be glad he never let anyone else even touch it. That means more to him than anything in this world. I cannot wait to watch you two join UA Hero course and then become heroes together. Sincerely, Nezu, UA Principal. What? She screamed as happy tears fell. She looked at Izuku, who gave her a proud look. "So, how do you like your surprise?" he said before she hugged him. Thank you, thank you, thank you," she said, crying into his chest for a few minutes. "𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, not to ruin the moment, but the floor is dirty, can I get up?" She hopped up, blushing crimson. "Oh, I'm sorry, Midoriya-kun. I got a bit overwhelmed." He chuckled. "It's fine," he said as they took their seats. 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 was so happy. Her family's worries are over. This boy did more for her than anyone ever has, with only asking her to do her best in return. What did she do to earn him as a friend? "Are you really Nezu's son, Midoriya-kun?" she asked as he smiled. "Yep. Adopted." He mentioned the keychain, right? "Well, due to a villain attack I lost her. I had no father, and my mom's best friend's son and I had issues that we can speak on some other time. But they felt they had no right to adopt me, so Nezu did. I still keep in touch with my aunt and uncle and see them regularly. But that keychain is truly special, just like you, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. Keep it with you always." She blushed as she examined the keychain. Tears formed as she never knew he lost his mom, let alone in a villain attack. Nor did she know he had very few friends their age. "Midoriya-kun, is the issue with your aunt and uncle's kid the reason you don't have many friends our age?" she asked. He smiled sadly. "Yeah. I developed trust issues with people our age. You're the only friend I have who is not an adult or staff member of UA." She was sad to hear that. This amazing boy who had only kindness in his heart must have had some horrible things happen if he couldn't trust his peers, and she being his only friend that wasn't an adult. "I'll protect this keychain with my life, Midoriya-kun, that I promise." He smiled. "Thanks, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. I wish my mom could have met you, as you two would have gotten along perfectly." She blushed wildly as the other students began coming in. After a blue-haired boy interrupted Mike and complained about Ochako muttering a plan out with Izuku putting him in his place, they were surprised to learn they had same city listed for their practical. They stood outside the gate waiting. "So, robots?" asked Izuku. Ochako smiled at him. "Yep. Freaking robots." They giggled as suddenly present Mike appeared with the gates opening. He hadn't said anything before the two bolted into the faux city, tearing apart robots. Kids whining about them being cheaters. Hey, they got the right idea. Nobody says go in a real fight. Follow them, they already got 29 points each. The other examinees panicked before darting into the city. Both got a bunch of villain points, but they each would stop and help those they could. Izuku found a purple-haired kid with about 8 minutes to go surrounded by bots and saved him. Wow, how'd they let you bring that? He asked Izuku, who made the Keyblade vanish and a pair of new ones appear. They're my quirk. The kid started to scowl. Great. Not only robots, but this exam is full of combat-oriented quirks. Izuku smiled. Maybe, but even if you don't have one, I'd like to help you. He said as he walked over to the remains of a robot and pulled out a sheet of metal with the purple-haired kids glaring at him. What am I gonna do with that genius? Izuku smirked. Then began to use magic to melt out a sword shape and then wrapped a grip around the handle portion in cable. How about pass the exam with it? The boy looked stunned at Izuku and his actions. Why help me? I could potentially take your spot. Izuku shrugged. Your eyes are like mine used to be. You suffered a lot. Most likely due to not having a combat quirk. Well, you can tell me about it after the exam. This will work on 1 and 2 pointers, but 3 pointers will be dangerous. So focus on the 1 and 2 pointers. If you see people in need of help, then help them. Do that and you'll pass for sure. Oh, and I'm not kidding. After the exam, meet me and my friend at the buses. We need to chat. Anyway, good luck, man. He said with a wave before flashing down the road, taking out a group of 3 pointers with ease. Well, at least he isn't conceited like most powerful quirk users. Thank you for giving me a chance, man. As time went on, they got to 2 minutes left and the 0-pointer hit the field. Already having 230 points, Izuku was safe, so he was going to just leave, but then he heard several screams. He turned and under the rubble was Ochako with a girl with earlobes shaped like headphone jacks. Without a second thought, Izuku summoned his keyblades and flew forward. He saw the purple-haired boy and shouted to him. The kid turned and noticed the girl's in trouble. He was scared, but he had to help. He wants to be a hero, he can't let them get hurt. He rushed forward as Izuku shattered the rubble. The girl with the jacklobes wasn't hurt much, so Izuku told her and the purple-haired boy to carry 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA and go. They started to, but they stopped when 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA yelled, "Midoriya-kun, don't. Please run." They turned to see him slowly walking to the. He turned and smiled. Turned back around and yelled, "Firaagwa-1." A massive fireball formed at the end of one keyblade as he sent the other flying through the 0-pointer's torso and jumping as high as he could, moving the massive ball of flame into the upper chest and head of the robot. Its armor began melting super fast before he hit something and the robot began to explode. The explosion was so powerful it knocked them down as 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA screamed. After it died down. "Midoriya. Where's Midoriya?" Nothing. The smoke and fire was everywhere. "Izuku," she yelled as suddenly she heard, "Waterga." A massive wave of water flooded the street, putting out the fires, and seconds later Izuku walked out of the smoke with his training jacket and shirt burned away. A stream of blood pouring down his head. All the girls nearby blushed with nosebleeds as 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA tried to stand. "Don't, 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA, you injured your leg. Look down." As she did, she saw a bone jutting out with blood everywhere. The two who carried her panicked before Izuku cackled. "Just wait, you ain't seen anything yet. Watch this." He pointed his keyblade at 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA. "Kuraga." A green and white glow came off of 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA as the bone not only went back in but set itself and healed her perfectly, not even leaving a scar. The two purplets shared a look that screamed, "How broken is this guy?" Before they looked back as 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA jumped up, hugging him, making them both blush and stand up before coughing. If you're gonna jump his bones, I'd wait till later," said the girl as the boy got a nosebleed and started to stumble. 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA then realized she's hugging Izuku. A shirtless, bloody Izuku who just destroyed a giant robot. And blushed up a storm. She covered her face and made herself float as she muttered, blushing like a strawberry. Sighing, Izuku jumped again and caught her in midair. 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA, it's fine, just come on, introduce yourself to them." She cancelled her quirk and, still blushing after Izuku set her down and stepped to her side. I'm Ochako, 𝐬𝐬𝐴RIKA. Thank you for helping Midoriya-kun rescue me," she said with a bow. The girl then said, "And no sweat. He saved me too, so least I could do was help you." I'm 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, she said with a thumbs up. The boy then said, Hitoshi Shinso. Thanks to Midoriya, here I stood a chance to actually pass. He didn't even need to ask. He got my attention and I just sorta acted. He said with a ghost of a smile on his face. Well, Shinso and Jiro, it's nice to meet you too. I'm Izuku Midoriya. I hope we all get into the same class. Anyway, let's head to the bus. I'm kinda half naked here and need a shirt. Ochako and Jiro both muttered, why cover that gorgeous body up? Making Izuku blush. Shinso somehow didn't hear it and just turned around. Thank you for giving me a chance to pass Midoriya. I'll tell you about my quirk at the bus as you asked. The four then went and made their way to the bus to get their things and head back to the main building. Though Izuku knew he and Uraraka passed easily, he hoped these two who helped him save her can pass. He didn't know their point situation, but he held out hope. Maybe they did pass, as surely the judges saw it all. They walked off, leaving one angry blue-haired boy fuming as he watched them go. Izuku and Ochako had become fast friends with Shinso and Jiro. Shinso had told them his quirk and was in awe how all three found his quirk insanely useful. He tears up as they meant it. They all exchanged numbers to stay in contact, as even if some didn't pass, they all gave it everything they had to pass. After returning and changing clothes, Ochako and Izuku went on about their day as the two purplets left to head home. Izuku, thank you for everything. You and your father both have placed so much trust in me. Thank you again for saving me and Jiro, said Ochako as they walked. As I said, Uraraka, I'm your friend. I wouldn't be a good friend if I did not help you. You and Jiro were in danger. I couldn't stand there and let you get killed. That'd be a terrible way to treat you. Hee though it feels nice with you using my given name. Ochako froze. Wait, I did. Izuku nodded. I don't mind if you call me Izuku, but I hope that means I get to call you Ochako as well. Ochako flushed. Not just from his liking of her using his first name and asking to use hers as well, but the fact he'd walk through fire to save her. Well, twist my arm, why don't you, Mr. Izuku, hee. They giggled. Seems we got ourselves a deal there, Ms. Ochako, hee. They laughed and teased each other before reaching her home. Izuku was about to head home when he heard her ask, why don't you come inside and we chat for a bit, Izuku? Izuku, not being an idiot, agreed as they went inside. Due to lifestyle of saving what money she could, she did not have a lot of things there. She feared Izuku would laugh at her for being unable to afford much. This is a nice place, Ochako. Kinda cute like you, said Izuku as Ochako stopped. Wait, did he just say my place and I are cute? She asked aloud without realizing it. Izuku blushed. Yes, I did. Ochako turned around. I have really got to stop thinking out loud. Anyway, wait here and I'll make us some tea. Izuku nodded and sat on the couch thinking through the day's events. Not long after Ochako had returned with the tea, she sat down with some space between them. I wish I was as strong as you, Izuku. Izuku hummed. Why is that, Ochako? He asked as she started to tremble. Because I couldn't help Jiro or myself today. He looked over at her as she spoke quietly with quivering lips. Ochako trembled harder. Seeing this, Izuku scooted over and placed an arm around her. Ochako, it's okay. Everything worked out in the end. I understand your fears and worries. But just because you're not as strong as me doesn't mean you are not strong. You gave it your all, and when you noticed Jiro in trouble, you rushed to help her, didn't you? Ochako was crying at this point as she turned towards Izuku and cried into his shoulder. Why, yes, I did. But how did you know? She asked as she cried. Because I know you, Ochako. It would take a lot for you to not help her. Also, I saw her damaged lobe. My guess was she needed help getting it out from a robot, and you rushed to help noticing the 0-pointer. She cried as she hugged her best friend. Her only real friend. As she cried, she vented her frustrations. He only spoke softly and rubbed circles in her back. Ochako, Uraraka. My only real friend. There is much I've seen from you these past 10 months. But what I've noticed is you have become very strong. It's okay to feel weak or fail. But listen closely. I would not have helped just anyone the ways I have helped you. The moment I saw you attacked by the sludge, to see that amount of fear, I knew I had to help. When you and Fu explained what happened, I knew you were special. I knew I had to help you see your special heart. To help you realize your dream. I watched you grow by leaps and bounds over the past 10 months. You are leagues above your old self. It is okay to cry and feel bad, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. But do not let what happened today deter you from your path. I will always find a way to help you. So don't worry. After all, if nothing else, at least we have each other to help us. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 had cried all her tears out. Said all her concerns and fears. Through it all she held on to him as he spoke gently and did not admonish her. She leaned back and looked into those big kind emerald eyes. Before either knew it, she had leaned in and kissed him on the lips. Time slowed to a standstill as the waves of passion rolled through the two. They both felt as though they soared into the sky as fireworks exploded all around them. Through time and space they flew attached to each other through a hug and kiss. 𝐻𝐻𝐿, concerned that he wouldn't reciprocate, was surprised when he melted into the kiss as they fell back into the couch. After a few moments they broke for air. 𝐿𝐼 kissed him. No me crushes going to for doing that. What am I going to do? Said 𝐻𝐻𝐿 at hyper speed before Izuku leaned in, kissing her again. Not expecting it, 𝐻𝐻𝐿's mind went blank. Got to say, wasn't expecting you to kiss me, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. Said Izuku after they broke for air again. Me either. How was it? Izuku chuckled. Perfect. Especially since was my first kiss. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 was taken aback. How was her first kiss his as well? What with his personality, she figured he had at least had a girl at some point kiss him. Why your first too? Continuing the hug, Izuku smiled. Yes, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. He got to say I rather enjoyed it. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 blushed at that. Me too, Izuku. She then realized it's been 30 minutes since they got to her place and she was hugging him for the majority of it. She squealed as she hopped off. Sorry, Izuku. I didn't realize how long I've been hugging you. Izuku chuckled. It's okay, 𝐻𝐻𝐿, besides I love being hugged by you. Blushing crimson, she poked him in the chest. You better, Mr. E. They both laughed before Izuku spoke. You know I like you, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. As more than a friend. Blushing at his admission, she spoke. Me too. I mean, I like you as more than a friend. He not I like me as more than a friend. That'd be weird. They laughed as time went by. Soon it became late and Izuku had to leave. What does this mean for us though? Izuku smiled. We are whatever you wish for us to be. Friends, or more, whatever you longing to be I'll gladly accept. He said as he gazed upon her. So if I want to be your girlfriend, you'd really be okay with that? Izuku shrugged. I don't see any reason to say no. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 blushed. Then that's my longing, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku smiled as he stepped towards her and kissed her again. Then I shall do my best to always make you happy, 𝐻𝐻𝐿. I will be the best boyfriend I can for you, so always keep that appealing smile, okay? He said as she smiled brightly at her now boyfriend Izuku. He as long as you do the same. Izuku giggled and agreed as he left. Both were over the moon for each other and they both knew the other was too. Soon the couple had gotten their letters and Izuku placed first with 300 combined points and 𝐻𝐻𝐿 with 210 got second. 𝗀𝐮𝐿 and 𝗧𝗏 also both gotten in, with 𝗧𝗏 receiving 83 points and 𝗀𝐮𝐿 105 due to their rescue efforts. The four were even more excited as they all are in 1A. Izuku, having known in advance, feigned ignorance of it but was glad that 𝗀𝐮𝐿 gets to meet and train with his personal idol. They had all decided to train together in order to be as strong as possible. 𝗀𝐮𝐿 was thought to be weak, but just as Izuku predicted, he was able to get a lot stronger, not just physically but with his quirk. Izuku had helped him learn more uses for his quirk. He helped 𝗧𝗏 with hers as well. Things always got awkward when Izuku would take his shirt off after working out, causing many nosebleeds from the two girls. 𝗀𝐮𝐿 was amazed at seeing just how muscular Izuku was. But he also knew those muscles came after earning them. He himself was slowly gaining muscle. 𝗧𝗏 as well, as she now sported leaner arms and legs. A 4-pack as well, and had become incredibly quick, which helped during combat, especially with 𝐻𝐻𝐿, who would mostly spar with 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and Izuku. She didn't feel right sparring with 𝗀𝐮𝐿 because unlike with 𝗧𝗏 he had very limited experience in a fight. Soon all three, thanks to Izuku, became much stronger than they were a mere few weeks ago. Their first day arrived and Izuku and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 were first to enter. Soon came a well-endowed girl with a spiky ponytail and onyx eyes. The couple introduced themselves to her. She smiled at that and introduced herself. The couple was surprised at this being Momo Yaoyorozu, heiress of the Yaoyorozu family. She half expected them to be rude to her being rich, especially with her being a recommended student. She felt she didn't earn her place. Miss Yaoyorozu, do not fret. Just because of who you are or being recommended doesn't make you any less of a person. Besides, I'm sure you are an excellent person with a good quirk, said Izuku with a smile. She flushed a bit at the compliment. Thanks, Midoriya-san. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 smiled as she knew her boyfriend would help anyone, and he was right about her. She seemed to be a very nice person. Hopefully she gained confidence in herself soon. You're welcome, Miss Yaoyorozu. Just learn to have faith in yourself and you'll be a great heroine, said Izuku, flashing that million-watt smile. Just then an angry Sonic ripoff entered. How dare you all be standing around talking? This is UA blah blah blah. The angry boy rambled for a bit before Izuku spoke. Tenya Ida, correct. You need to loosen up. We have 30 minutes before class starts. If you're this uptight, then I pity the poor souls who have to listen to you bark orders all day. Take a page from 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and chill. The girls and rip-off Sonic were stunned. How did he know Tenya's name and relation to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫? My adopted father is close friends with 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and his family. Fuming, the boy just sat down until class started. Aizawa did his caterpillar thing and the kids left to change. As the girls were changing, Jiro heard a boy mentions a peephole. Jiro warned the girls and listened in. I'll send a jack into his eye if he peeps, she said. Listening into the conversation, she plugged a jack into her phone and the wall to allow all the girls to hear as Yaoyorozu covered the hole up just in case. Oh man, I can't wait to see Mina's perfect butt, Hagakura's floating panties, etc., etc., etc. Then he got to Yaoyorozu's and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's body parts, and without warning the girls heard a massive slam. Minoru Mineta. If you continue to try and peep on my girlfriend and my friends, I will break every bone in your body and heal you before you die. I'll repeat this process until I decide to finish you off. Do you understand, Grapist? Most of the girls were impressed by his words and actions. Then he spoke quietly so only Mineta and the girls, due to Jiro's quirk, could hear. By the way, but don't think I did not notice you left out Kyo. That's rather pathetic that you couldn't see one of the most appealing and CC girls as that. Yes, she doesn't have big BRSTS but there's more to women than those parts. The girls all blushed and thought on his words. Jiro was blushing and shaking, trying to keep the tears inside. He is not wrong, Kyo, said 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 as the girls started to hug her. The other four were still surprised by his actions and words. He seemed so timid and shy. Laughing, Uraraka spoke. Oh yes, he just hates pervs. Jiro, however, was a mix of sad and happy as she knew she had a slim build. It hurt her to hear every other girl mention but her. Not even the massive perv saw her as anything special. But for some reason Izuku did. What? She didn't know but needed to ask him. After that, the girls got dressed and headed to the field, where a very set-off pair of Izuku and Aizawa glared at Mineta, who was sweating bullets. He apologized and begged for forgiveness. He did not receive it and was expelled on the spot. Crying, the little perv went home. After that, they did the assessment test. Izuku took first. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 was fourth with Momo second, Shoto Todoroki took third, Jiro was fifth and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 12th. With that, day one was finished. The four had all soon become fast friends with Yaoyorozu. She was fascinated with all their powers. Izuku's was the most interesting due to the many facets it had. She had also laughed hard at him, admonishing both Mineta. Then during the test, when Izuku used his key blades, Tenya rambled on again until Izuku put him in his place along with Aizawa, saying it is his quirk, so no reason to punish him for doing as asked of him. They laughed and enjoyed their time together as classes came to an end. Momo, having had a limo waiting for her, asked the others if they wanted to ride with her. Only 𝐶INSO said no. None were put off by her status, but Jiro was sad because of how endowed Momo was. As they got into the limo and drove away, Izuku and Momo noticed Jiro hugging her knees. Before Momo could speak, Izuku did. Kyo, if I were you, I'd stop putting myself down. You, just like Yaoyorozu and my machi here, are very appealing and CC in your own way. If others do not see it, then we can all explain to you why what I said is true. Also, Yamamoe most likely did not enjoy boys trying to get with her due to money or her body. Or girls getting jealous and trying to bully her. Correct, Yaoyorozu. Momo froze. Why? How did why you know? Ochako spoke up. Well, given he is Nezu's adopted son, I'd say that one is an easy answer. Right, my cinnamon roll. Izuku blushed as he hugged her with one arm a bit more. True, I could do that, but I figured it out from how she moved when the boys spoke to her today. Everyone was stunned but Ochako. And Nezu adopted you. But how is that not a big deal, Mophead? After hearing that he was Nezu's son and the heart attack he gave them, they decided to bathe a sleepover at Momo's place. They all agreed to it, and they all went home getting the okay by their parents and gathered things for a sleepover. Izuku was nervous. Now he had 4 friends counting Ochako, Momo, 𝐶𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, and Jiro. But due to 𝐶𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐴 having things he had to do with his family, couldn't come. After arriving at the mansion and Ochako needing her soul shoved back into her body by Jiro and Izuku due to her shock at the mansion size, Momo's sweat dropped. Yeah, it is kind of big. They went inside and were in awe at all the possessions. Momo took them to the guest rooms and then showed them various rooms that included a library, home gym, a dojo, a movie theater, etc., etc. Izuku, being thirsty for knowledge, loved the library. It had thousands of books. He and Ochako also enjoyed seeing the dojo. Jiro loved the theater and was in awe at the movie collection of over 20,000 movies. After the tour, they all decided to head to the library until time for dinner. Yaoyorozu, have you read all of these books? Asked Izuku, curious about Momo and her love for reading as well. She giggled. Nope. Not even half. I love to read, but even I haven't read all these books. There's so many to choose from. Izuku smiled as he pondered if he could borrow some to read after training. But careful, Yamamoe, you might steal Ochako's man. Ha! Laughed Jiro as both Ochako blushed, with Ochako feeling a little jealous and down as compared to Momo she wasn't much competition. Momo was very smart, more endowed, very rich, as well as having a personality more like Izuku's. Izuku, however, was ensnared by the thirst for knowledge. Momo sighed. As Jiro realized she made an error with her snarky comment. Not to worry, Kyo. I am no boyfriend stealer. Had to deal with being called that ever since PBR hit. Ochako smiled at her words as Jiro sighed. Well, it is easy for people to make that assumption, but I was just joking. The girls laughed a bit. Izuku, having found numerous first editions of books he's been searching for, had snagged some to read as he sat with the girls. You know, I do wonder something, girls. Why were all your parents okay with having a boy at a sleepover? Ochako, he understood as she lived alone. Jiro hadn't mentioned Izuku would be there, and Momo's parents were never around. After they explained, Izuku was stunned. I see. That makes sense. Here I was thinking your parents were expecting me to be gay or something. Ha. The girls all face-bombed. That's not exactly funny, you know. Izuku chuckled at Ochako's words. Wasn't meant to be. But I am glad to be able to spend time with friends. It helps me deal with certain aspects of my past. Jiro and Ochako knew what he meant as he told them everything about his life, leaving out the details of mother's death to Jiro. Momo was confused as she figured he had an ideal life, seeing how he was around everyone. What do you mean, Midoriya-san? She asked innocently. Izuku sighed. Well, Yaoyorozu-chan. My life wasn't always happy and fun. Also, please feel free to call me Izuku, seeing as we're friends. Momo blushed a bit at the end but was still confused. Okay, Izuku. She said. Izuku smiled. If you wish to know my past, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to inform you. But I warn you, it is not a good story to hear. Do you wish to know? Momo looked at the two girls and saw their sadness. She sighed and took a deep breath. If you trust me enough to state it, then yes, Izuku. One explanation later, and a crying Yaoyorozu was hugging him as Ochako and Jiro cried. They knew his story, but they couldn't stand hearing it again. He was such a kind-hearted and timid soul who never meant harm to anyone. Yet some people couldn't let him be all because his quirk took so long to manifest. He mentioned his mother died in a villain attack, but Jiro and Momo weren't fully informed on it. Only Ochako was told the whole story. She subconsciously rubbed the keychain she always had with her. Why were people so cruel to a child just over their quirk status? Asked Momo as she slowly calmed down. Sighing, Izuku explained, well, Yaoyorozu. In today's society, if you have no powers, you are unable to be a worthy or useful member and have been conditioned to treat you as subhuman. It's ironic considering when quirks first appeared, quirkless were the vast majority and despised the quirked. The girls listened as he went through the history of the pre-quirk era. They were shocked to learn such things, and even more so that Izuku knew about it. Demon dude, are you sure you are human and nor some evil supercompter robot with skin? Izuku laughed hard. Must destroy human secret was found. He said in a robotic voice, making Ochako and Momo laugh as Jiro deadpanned. Really, dude? Izuku smiled. I am human Kyo. But too, as how I can know all this information on all these varied subjects, it's kind of helpful that my IQ is actually higher than father's. Momo had to have her jaw surgically reattached as it fell through the floor. Seriously, Izuku? Izuku smiled as he nodded to confirm. Jiro and Ochako, not knowing how that was important, soon found out. Nezu has an intelligent boosting quirk called high specs. He has always been considered the most intelligent being on the planet. Jiro and Ochako looked from Momo to Izuku to each other and needed to have the Necronomicon revive them as they fainted and passed away from the information. After a few tries, Momo and Izuku revived them in order to take over the world. Slap. Author-san, I'll not have that SHT hurt. Narrator-san, do I look like I give a DM in? Stop confusing the readers, you dickless bollweevil. Or else I will get the dragon. Author-san, deciding that no way in hell will he deal with the dragon, returns to Ochako's and Jiro's reactions after a short moment of inner exploration and chugging some water. Ochako sighs. So in other words, I must fear my boyfriend will go insane and plot world domination like Nezu. Izuku shrugged. I'm not into that. That's father's 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Blinking, Jiro took a second to register what he said and began laughing her butt off along with Momo. Ochako just smiled a bit as Izuku winked at her. After a while it was time for dinner, and the four ended up at the movie theater to watch some movies before retiring to bed. They ended up watching some horror films, which resulted in the three girls all hugging onto Izuku for dear life as he was left a blushing and stuttering mess, praying to God there were no cameras here so his father wouldn't see this and get ideas. Soon it was time to head to bed, and much to Ochako's chagrin, both Jiro and Momo hugged Izuku and kissed a cheek before they went to bed. Not happy over the affection shown to her boyfriend, she felt a bit jealous, but then when she was about to head to bed she tackled him into a hug and initiated makeout session type. After the protocol finished its 35-minute runtime, Ochako went to her room after wishing him sweet dreams as Izuku just laid there waiting for the brain cells to vanquish the massive pervy dragon in his brain. Thankfully it was a success and he managed to stand up and head to bed. As morning came the four got dressed and headed out. Momo having lent Izuku many books, to his surprise and joy they watched him carry the massive stack of books out and into his apartment. Surprisingly fast without dropping a single one. After coming back he had a few notebooks and two of the books he borrowed in his arms. They eventually made it to school and were awaiting time for heroics class. Only Izuku knew who their teacher was, and he only told his friends it was a surprise that they'd all enjoy. All Might walked in like a normal person, which was to say a normal person on meth, but sure, whatever, Toshinori. Anyway, they had gotten their costumes and headed to meet All Might at the Faux City Beta for their training. The girls and most the boys were blown away by Izuku and his costume. He got complimented by everyone and was talking with some until from behind him he heard his girlfriend in her sweet voice telling him how cool and badass he looked. As he turned he was immediately thankful for UA making her costume. She was complaining about the skin-tight bodysuit and Izuku being clueless for a moment. Wow, that looks amazing on you, Oka. Before his brain computed that he literally just said her body was amazing. Mina Ishido caught on to the fact he called her a nickname and was about to say something when Izuku noticed Momo in her costume. I must say, if I did not know that was due to your quirk needing to come through skin, I definitely get the wrong opinion. Still, it is a great design. Momo just sort of leaned forward as the sounds of broken machinery were heard before rebooting. Thanks Izuku. You're probably the only one to think of that. Izuku laughed as he wrote something down on a piece of paper and handed it to her. Mina assumed it was his number. Here, take that to Power Loader Sensei after class. While I understand the purpose of that suit, I'd much rather you have something more like Midnight Sensei's that was self-repairing. Hee that way at least the pervs won't get to see much. He said, chuckling a bit. Momo blushed and thanked him. How did I not think of that? Izuku laughed. No one person can think of everything, Yamamoto. They talked for a moment, Izuku blushing the whole time, yet not once did they take his eyes off hers. He then noticed Hagakure and wrote another note as he asked Momo to take it to her. He went to Ochako, who was talking with Jiro. Hey Kyo, love the look, definitely a punk rocker style. He said with a smile. Now Mina was super confused. He gave nicknames to half the girls in class. Wait, is he dating them all? Before her thoughts ran wild, time for the matchup. Instead of being paired with Aoyama, Mina was paired with Izuku. With Ochako teaming with Aoyama, Ida was paired with Todoroki and Momo with 𝐶𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Izuku had double duty as there were only 19 students. So he also got paired with Mizo Shoji for a second round. Some complained about it being unfair, which irked him, but he spoke calmly. Guys, it's fine. Truthfully, I could face all of you in a 1 versus 18 and win, which All Might here knows. After all, I almost beat him in a spar that we accidentally got carried away with. Remember, Ochako? The class took several steps back and were ready to call in nuclear strikes to keep the demon child at bay should he attack. I mean, the class sweat dropped. Not even Todoroki had the ball to try that. Ida, however, yelled at Izuku that he was too arrogant and lies too much before All Might saved Ida from imminent death as Izuku unleashed a massive killer intent. Tenya, Ida, I do not give a DMN if you are 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's little brother. I am Izuku Midoriya. Meaning the sole reason you maintain a seat here in UA is because I asked father not to expel you and not to blacklist you from all school's hero courses. Shut your goddamn mouth and stop trying to assert your pathetic excuse for 𝐴𝐻𝐸 Beta Bottom Beach. The class was ready for many things that day. That's 𝐶𝐮𝐿 right, there was not one of them. All Might confirmed yes, Izuku was Nezu's adopted son, and all students immediately decided Ida he's on his own. Before dying from laughter at how fast and brutal he got put down by the quiet and kind classmate. Anyways, onto the battles. I am skipping all but Izuku and Mina versus Ida and Todoroki, as well as Izuku Shoji versus Ochako and Aoyama, because that's too much SHT for me to think of. Izuku was in process of explaining his plan to Mina when she had to ask, Hey Midori, are you dating Yamamoto, Jiro, and Ochako all at once? Izuku and all the students coughed up a lung at how brazen she was before Izuku spoke. No. I am dating one of them though. I leave it to you to figure out. Now please, we need to plan for the battle. He said, blushing like mad. The students all whispered to themselves while staring at the 3 mentioned girls who were panicking and secretly cursing Izuku for not telling who it was. What? You boys and girls jelly all of a sudden. Jiro said before thinking about it, and blushed. Ochako and Momo just sighed before Ochako had an idea, and they huddled up. Then turned around and smiled broadly, which terrified the class. He lied, we are all his fiancés, said Ochako just to see their reactions. Kaminari fainted with BLD shooting out of his nose at a rapid pace. Hagakure fell into 𝐶𝐮𝐿 and began trying to wrap her head around said information. Izuku, the poor stupid bastard, he would rue the day after the team returned to the observation room. After explaining his plan, he summoned Oblivion and Fenrir, opting to use a dual-wielding style for this match. The class was losing their SHT at how this dude just pulled not 1 but 2 Fing Ki-shaped swords out of thin air. As they only saw his Kingdom Keyblade, it was even more surprising. He has so many more Keyblades to choose from, you know. Even though I trained with him for 10 months, not even I have seen them all, said Ochako, who regretted it after. As everyone began to ask questions, the horns sounded for the team to go in. Izuku would be the lead, tanking any attacks with Mina as long-range support. It wasn't long before a very angry Sonic ripoff appeared. Die heroes. You won't stop us from. Ida was sent flying as his kick was met by 2 Keyblades, and with such force it broke his leg. The class paled and All Might sighed. I forgot to tell him to take it easy. Sorry, young Ida, but you will not enjoy training today. Izuku smiled viciously. You know, Ida, If you were smart like you claim to be, you'd have sent Todoroki to attack. Due to my abilities as well as 𝐻𝐻𝐿, you won't win this battle. Ida in intense pain roared into his communications device for Todoroki to do his plan. Within seconds the entire building was frozen. Expecting them to be frozen, Ida looked as fire was shot towards the ground, thawing him and Mina out. But how? Izuku laughed. You saw me take down the 0-pointer, Ida. Remember, I have elements I can use due to my quirk. Speaking of which, Izuku tapped the air in front of him and produced a bracelet to nullify cold and handed it to Mina. That broke everyone in the observation room and Ida. Any chance you knew about that, Ochako-chan? Ochako couldn't speak, she just shook her head. Mina put the bracelet on as asked, and immediately she was warmed up as if the frozen building was not even there. DMN Midori. What can't you do? Izuku shrugged. No clue. I just figured out the equipment summon for accessories and armor last week. It's different than my keyblades, as they just need me to imagine them and they appear. Anyway, shall we go, milady, and face the tyrant king of fire and ice? He said in a regal tone, making all the girls blush and turning 𝐻𝐻𝐿 lilac from a full-body blush. Holy, that was so hot, Midori, she said, making Izuku blush before she reached her hand out, and in a similar tone. Why yes, my shining knight, take your queen to stop the evil king. They giggled as they walked off, leaving a very infuriated Ida yelling at them so much All Might had to turn his sound off. Izuku burst through the door with 𝐻𝐻𝐿 behind him. Shoto sent a wave of ice at him, but Izuku sliced through them. He was the main threat and Shoto knew it. Tried all his ideas and none were working. Finally he got angry and made a pair of ice swords, charging at Izuku only for 𝐻𝐻𝐿 to launch acid at him, keeping him at a distance. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 smirked. Not today, evil king. My knight and I will take you down, she said, causing a smile on Izuku's face. Severely angry Shoto began launching ice spears at Izuku, but he cut them all down as 𝐻𝐻𝐿 launched acid at Shoto. Finally Shoto had enough and launched his ice spears at 𝐻𝐻𝐿. Izuku, seeing this, had flashed in front of her, taking out a few of them, but got caught in the chest by one. All Might, though, had refused to stop the fight because he knew Izuku was going to be fine. The students are panicking except for 𝐴𝐮𝐲𝐽, Jiro, and Ochako. Needless to say, Mina was crying her eyes out as Izuku just got fatally struck down. Mina-chan, please, pull the ice out, she heard his voice. Holy hell, he didn't die. Mina thought and was about to protest before he scared her. Mina, if you don't, I'll die. I can heal this, but you need to pull the ice out first. Please. So scared, sad, and confused, she trusted him and she yanked out the ice. In a glow of brilliant green and white she heard, Kuraga. She watched as the wound healed up as if nothing happened, and Izuku stood up. He was not smiling. He was not happy. He was very, very set off. Shoto Todoroki. If not for me and my abilities, you'd have just killed one of your opponents in a goddamn training match. Do you hear me? Happy that he didn't kill someone, but angry at himself for losing his control and angry at being reprimanded by Izuku, he just nodded. Mina, go to the bomb. I think little man here needs to learn a valuable lesson about emotional control and consequences for his actions, he said, stepping towards Todoroki. Mina, stunned at the power this boy has and his gentle nature being replaced with unbridled fury, as well as how he recklessly threw himself into the fray to save her. She stood and began to walk to the bomb as Shoto attempted to shoot his ice again, but it was melted by a wall of insanely hot fire. No, Shoto Todoroki. You are done attacking my friends. You want to prove yourself strong, but you're pathetic. You only use your ice due to family issues. But you ended up being same as Daddy Dearest. You want to prove you're better than him, then you and I need to talk after school. But now, I'm gonna cut your goddamn right arm off. Everyone froze at the cold fury of one angry Izuku. All Might sighed. Trust me, kids. I know he will do it, but he will also heal the wound as if it never happened. Shoto Todoroki and Mina 𝐻𝐻𝐿, however, do not. Mina was scared at his rage but didn't know what to do. Mina, stand by the bomb. Touch it when I tell you to. Shoto trembled at what Izuku said. He made an ice sword and was gonna use it when suddenly, in a blink of the eye, he couldn't feel his arm. He looked down as the pain hit. Holy SHT, he really did it. Yelled Kaminari as the kids watching got sick. Now Mina. Mina touched the bomb and All Might yelled who won. Izuku stepped towards the one-armed Shoto who was experiencing fear so powerful his heart nearly gave out. Mina turned in time to see an arm with BLD everywhere laying on the ground and almost fainted. Now Shoto Todoroki, I can heal this wound and return your arm. But you need a lesson in humility. I will take you to father's office and discuss your temper and your actions. If you're lucky you will only be suspended for what you did by trying to kill Mina. A Shido who as athletic as she is was not gonna be able to dodge your attack. Do you understand me? Shoto in pain growled his confirmation, good Shoto Todoroki. Now Kuraga. Everyone watches in awe as the missing arm grew back at a rapid pace. Mina was thankful everyone was fine when Izuku walked over to check on her. Luckily she had no injuries due to Izuku tanking everything for her. Well, Miss Alien Queen, how did you find this training? Mina blushed at how he knew the hero name she was gonna choose. Well, Sir Knight of Keys, hee. It was alright. Just thankful you were here. If not then. She trailed off as Izuku banished his blades and pulled her into a hug as she cried, realizing how close she came to death. IICC could have died if you weren't 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐵 Midori. She stuttered out as tears fell. Like, I'd allow anyone to kill a classmate of mine if I could stop it. Besides, if you were gone we'd be sad and miss the gorgeous pink girl who makes us laugh. She giggled a bit but was still crying. If you hadn't done what you did I'd be dead. If you didn't have that Q quirk you'd be dead. She said through trembling lips. Izuku sighed but let her get out all the tears. Mina-chan. What you said is truth. That's a fear that could come true during hero work. But instead of crying over this, I suggest you use this as a chance to improve. Take every bit of what you experienced here and use it to strengthen your resolve to be the best hero you can be. Trust me when I say fighting villains is life or death. I know that all too well, Mina. But it's the act of facing that fear and still charging to battle with the courage we possess that determines if we're heroes or not. As terrifying an experience this was, it was a good experience for you all to learn from. Isn't that right, All Might? When Izuku said this, Mina remember, oh, they heard everything and saw everything. She said as she pulled out of the hug. Ahem. Yes, young Ishido, we did. Now return to the observation room. Oh, and please thaw out and heal Ida on the way, Izuku. Izuku groaned. Do I have to, All Might? All Might chuckled. Sadly, yes. Shoto had already left as he couldn't look at the two opponents as he was disgusted with himself. He ignored Ida too. Making it to the observation room, he stood by All Might looking ashamed as his class glared at him. As Mina walked she kept stumbling, so Izuku knelt in front of her. Well, Alien Queen, since you are almost dead on your feet, hop on and I'll give you a piggyback ride. Mina blushed before saying, but what would your girlfriend say? Izuku laughed. It's just to help you get to the observation room. I'm sure she'll understand. Mina shrugged and hopped on. They reached the still frozen and barking Mad Ida. Izuku cured him and melted the ice before making some to cover his mouth so no one heard his annoying voice, earning laughter from Mina and cheers from his classmates. They reached the class and all were eyeing Izuku. So does this mean Mina is another one of your fiancés? That broke Izuku and he fell face first onto the floor as Mina bounced off him. She was blushing and panicking before Ochako dragged her away. She took her to Jiro and Momo and was informed of the plan to F with the boys' heads. They were also going to rope Hagakure and Tsuyu into this so they wouldn't have to deal with them for a while. I know it's as stupid as F plan, but they're kids. As a former kid myself, I can attest to the idiocy of kids. Actually, it was done as a preventative measure. They dropped the act as soon as the girls found someone good. Just don't let the boys know this. They may act good and F up the whole plan. Narrator-san catches author-san, god damn it, you and your perverted ideas. F it. Dragon, it's meal time. Start PP first this time. The screams that day shattered the universe and only an advanced team of heroes were able to restore it. Anyway, back to the Fing story, damn it. After Mina agreed to the plan, the class was called to attention. determined that Izuku was MVP as he kept his teammate alive and used her skills as well as his to hold off the villain together. Then it was his plan to finish once the villain was defeated. His thoughts on how the battle would begin made it clear to Ida that he was being stupid. Anyway, on to match. Shoji and Izuku were the villains and had to capture or stall the hero team of Ochako and Yuga. Knowing how Ochako fought and Yuga being too focused on twinkling and him being the best, it didn't take long. Ochako went from the top only to be met by Izuku as Shoji waited for Yuga. Well, what do we have here? A hero trying to enter the lair of General Izuku. To what do I owe this pleasure, hero? Ochako, knowing this is a play, put in her own dramatic voice. Don't you remember me? I am 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘. General Izuku, I've come to return you to your former self. Don't let Oogie Boogie control your heart any longer, my friend. She said as the class began snickering. Oh, I see. Well, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, I suppose you must know there's but one way to turn off Oogie Boogie's persona warping plunger of doom, correct? Ochako, trying her hardest not to laugh, spoke. I know there is a way, but not the method. Either way it matters not. I'll save my friend. I won't let him lose the spark that made me fall for him. Ooh, drama. The girls were blushing as the boys chuckled. Oh, I see. Well, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗘, you fell for this, friend. Well, sadly I know nothing of that which you speak. I am the last and greatest weapon of Oogie Boogie, emissary of nightmares and all things that go bump in the night. With his mighty plunger of doom we shall conquer the cosmos and turn it into our plaything. Oh dear me, it seems you have fallen out of your costume. Are you trying to stuck me, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑? He said as he averted his gaze. Ochako and the girls gasped, then looked, but she was still covered. Right. Oh yeah, it's a play, hee. Well, what can I say? You're just too attractive. I had figured seeing these would help. Are you sure you're not into men? Izuku coughed at that and made a gagging sound as the boys erupted into laughter. Ahem. Sorry to disappoint you and your canis, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑. While those are some excellent bosoms, it would take more than that to stop me and my henchman Octorok. We shall rule this and all other worlds. Oh dear me. I seem to have made you have a fever. You're all red. I wonder why. Hankman, do you know? Just then a giggling Shoji was heard. I think it was the bosom thing, my lord. Izuku flushed red. I see, thank you, Hankman. Well, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑, shall we have fisticuffs now, or shall you continue trying to stuck me? A neon red Ochako spoke. I'll smash you until my friend is back. Izuku did his best not to panic as he heard everyone dying from laughter. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. I mean, we have no beds here, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑, he said while blushing and sweating with a shaky smirk. Ochako realized just how her words were able to be misconstrued and began balloon. That's not meaning. She said at hyperspeed. Izuku laughed. Well, henchman, I seem to have her on the ropes. How are things on your end? Shoji chimed in with, well, I caught him rather easily, my lord. He seems to be rambling on about his cape. Shall I commence the plunger startup sequence? The class, still unable to contain their laughs, watched in awe. No, I believe we shall need to use a different method on him. Prepare to feed him the solution marked IP freely. That one broke all might. What will that do? Asked Ochako, trying not to laugh but act scared. Well, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑, that solution will remove his bladder control. Now I believe you wish to fight me and take our bomb, correct? Well, let's see how you do in battle. Izuku jetted forward as Ochako, still in the air, released her control and tried to catch Izuku off guard. Good plan, but he knows all her moves. He stopped his momentum and leapt back as Ochako face-planted into the ground. He laughed an evil laugh worthy of Ida from a different universe. Oh dear. Were you actually attempting to cure me? So sorry, Miss 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗟𝗑, but I can't have you kiss me. I have too many plans in motion to let you thwart them. The girls all blushed and looked on, knowing it's a play but hoping she saves him with true love's kiss. That's the cure. Izuku smirked. Well, only the kiss of one's true love can reverse the plunger of doom. Oogie Boogie made it that way on purpose. Since apparently my true love had rejected me. The girls were saddened as they watched the boys were cackling like jackasses, and even All Might was truly smiling. I know I rejected you. I regretted that moment ever since. But I will save my love. I won't let 𝐻𝐵oogie succeed. The girls were so happy and excited by this declaration of love. You will try. But you will fall before my might, said Izuku as he eyes the timer. He only a minute left. You can do this, Izuku. They rushed forward, dodging a flurry of attacks from the other. 20 seconds left. Ochako, not knowing the limit, ran forward as Izuku purposefully left an opening that Ochako mistook for a gap in his defenses. I will save you, Izuku, she yelled passionately as she broke through and kissed him. The girls cheered as the boys grumbled about not getting to kiss any of the girls, minus Ida and Shoto, who had been sitting by themselves angry and not paying attention. As they kissed, Izuku and Ochako hugged each other until the horn sounded, snapping them back to reality. Ochako blushed as she remembered the class would hear and see everything, then got mad as she fell for Izuku's play and let time expire. Oh, you mean it? She pouted as Izuku giggled. Well, it could have been worse, Oka. Imagine if I wasn't ordered to fight at a first year's expected level. She paled at the thought. Yeah, but now you know the girls are gonna hound us with questions, right? Izuku paled at the thought. Oh, CRP. I'm an idiot. He yelled in despair as he crashed into the floor, making Ochako laugh. Oh, come on, you big baby. We gotta finish class. Izuku laughed and hopped up. Well, I hope they enjoyed the play. Izuku then glared at Izuku. Probably, but the hell was with the "oh dear you fell out of your costume" and "seducing you" comments. Izuku laughed. I thought it would be funny. Though why did you say you want to smash me? Ochako blushed as they exited the building. I was trying to sound like All Might. Izuku laughed. Maybe, but you chose the worst time to say that stuff. Ochako went into balloon mode and Izuku had to catch her again. Oh, quit teasing me, Izu, she said as they entered the observation room to see blushing, goofy smiles on the girls and boys holding their ribs with some jealous of Izuku. Izuku, sensing danger, looked at All Might, who shrugged. The girls all rushed him and dogpiled him. Oof, son of a ow wow, said Izuku as his head bounced off the floor. The girls all saying that was so romantic and squeezing the life out of him. Ochako, already well informed on what to do, grabbed a roll of duct tape and taped his soul back inside his body before the girls finally let him up. Before he could speak, they decided MVP and were told to head back to the classroom. Meanwhile, Ochako told Izuku to change and wait for the girls before heading back. Not realizing the shitstorm that was about to become his life, he just nodded and agreed. There he stood, leaning against the wall as he waved goodbye to all the boys and just whistled. Until all the girls came out and Ochako explained the plan. Okay, Izu. Here's what is going to happen. The girls all felt a little jealous that I had a BF and they didn't. They want to fake being engaged to you until they find the right guy. You're gonna do this, cause if not I'll sell all of your hero merch. Izuku, while not the most cowardly of people, began trying to think of a way out. I mean, he is smarter than Nezu, right? He did not figure out a way out of this. Fine. But what are the rules of this fake engagement stuff? As I know, Kaminari is dumb enough to be fooled easily. The other boys not so much. They'll expect hand-holding, kissing on the lips, hugging, and other PDA from an engaged pair or group. The girls immediately broke down, as they thought the whole plan out perfectly. Or so they thought. Mina and Jiro summed it up perfectly. OSHT. We didn't think of that. We are so fuke, damn it, Yamamo, how did you miss that? Ochako was slowly rebooting and her and Yamamo went to work on revising the details. I think I got it, Yamamo. Let's tell him. Momo, blazing beet red, just sort of shuffled over, unable to talk. Fine, Izuku. I'll allow some kissing so they think the engagement stuff is real, but you must remember your mind got it. Sighing again, wondering who he set off to make this happen. Fine. As long as they follow the rules, I'm okay with this. The girls all cheered and hugged him. Yeah. Whoopee. Anyway, we need to go to class until the bell, then Yamamo and Hagakure need to drop by the support department to give them the requests I made to their outfits. I have to take Todoroki to discuss his actions with father. I don't know how long that will take, so feel free to head back to your apartment without me, Ochako, he said as they all went back to class. The boys minus Shoto and Ida were bowing before their 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 as Siro and Kaminari cried tears of BLD. While Izuku just stood there and rebooted. Ochako was in pain. Massive pain. She was in a heap on the floor in the 𝐀𝐮𝐦𝐸 as All Might was losing a battle to save them from demonic shadow beasts. Massive creatures not seen before by most of this world. Just as one lands a critical blow on All Might, it turns its focus to her. Its fist comes flying at her, and in fear she shuts her eyes, waiting for the death that fist promises, but it never comes. She opens her eyes and pure terror and despair fills her heart and soul as standing there with his ki blades down and a smile on his face was Izuku, but one issue. The fist of the demon had plunged through his chest. The demon yanked its arm free as Shigaraki cackled at how easily these creatures were annihilating the heroes. I'm glad. I could save you one last time, Oka. Please grow and move forward. Smile, my love. I'm sorry. I couldn't watch you become the hero you were meant to be. I love you, Ochako Uraraka. Those words were to be the last she heard from the boy she loved. The boy who saved her. Who helped her become strong. The boy she loved with all her heart. Izuku. She screamed his name with every ounce of strength she had left. But how did things come to this? Is this truly how the Keyblade MSDR's story ends? A mere causality in a battle between good and evil? To find that out we must go back to the day before. The girls having left as Izuku walks with Todoroki. You know, Todoroki, you still have much to learn on the path of being a hero. I do not wish you to be expelled. I wish to help you become the hero your mother wills you to be. But you need to curb that temper. Todoroki scoffs and barks out. What would you know? You probably have had a perfect life, what with you father being Nezu. I release a massive amount of killer intent. Todoroki. My life until the last 5 years was sheer hell. You have your mother and father both there, even if Endeavor is a cocksucking prick. I didn't get my quirk until the day my mother was killed right in front of me. My BRH father is a different story. Trust me boy, your life is not the worst story out there. Todoroki froze, knowing he just fed up again. They went to Nezu's office and stepped inside. Hello father. I have brought Todoroki as requested. Nezu looked at his son with pride. Very good son. Now young Todoroki, what seems to be the problem with your temper? Sighing, Todoroki says, I'm an idiot. They do not deny that fact. It's because of your father, is it not? Asked Izuku. Shoto sighed. Yes, for things he's done not just in public as a hero but at home as a tyrant. Shoto went on to explain everything. Nezu and Izuku were furious. I see. Father, I think it's time to make Endeavor learn from his mistakes, don't you? Asked Izuku as they both smiled devilishly. Soon Shoto joined with a smirk of his own, knowing the two most dangerous minds in existence are aimed at his SPRM donor. Although, we do need to also set a punishment for young Todoroki here. Shoto sighed. Whatever punishment you deem necessary, I will not fight. Your son was right. If he hadn't been there and hadn't had his quirk, I'd be a killer. He said with teary eyes. Very well. For the next month you are on trash detail for the entire school. You will wear quirk-canceling cuffs. You will help Miss Ishido with anything her and Izuku see fit. Anything else you can think of, Izuku? Asks Nezu. Izuku sighed. To train his fire against me. He is afraid to use it, thinking it's his dad's quirk. It's his own power. His own quirk. He needs to learn this to use it safely. Will you accept this, Todoroki? You need to grow up and understand hating yourself for the sins of your father is pointless. Shoto sighs after realizing Izuku was right. Scared, but he knows Izuku can tank his fire and ice, so he accepts. After that the two head to the gate. I'm sorry I ran my mouth about you and your life, Midoriya. I had no right to do that. I truly do apologize. He said with a bow. Izuku sighs. It's fine, Todoroki. I understood, that's why I did nothing but talk. If you knew my story then said that it'd have a much different ending. But, thank you. I hope now we can become friends. I do like that a lot, and when I see you and your family thrive without Endeavor to bring you all down. Shoto snapped his head up fast. You really want to be friends even after what I did? Izuku smiles. Todoroki, you got angry and made a mistake. Yes, the end result could have been fatal. But I was there to stop it. I see how much you need friends to help you. I offer my hand in friendship to help you become the man you wish to be. Will you accept my friendship, 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐻? 𝐀𝐮 cries a bit. He's never really had friends before, but he knows Izuku is a good person. Yes, my friend. I'd like that, Izuku. The boys shake hands and laugh. That was so dramatic, 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐻. 𝐀𝐮 holding his ribs. Hee, I know. But it was nice to finally make a friend. Izuku smiles. I know the feeling. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐻 was my first true friend. It makes one feel accepted, like they have far less fears and can just enjoy life, right? 𝐀𝐮 smiles and nods. That it does, Izuku. That it does. They head their separate ways and Izuku finds 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐻 waiting on him. There's my CC boyfriend, she yells as she runs at him. Izuku, unsure of the future, froze and was tackled yet again. Wow, why? 𝐀𝐻𝐻 helps him up, making me wait like this. He blinks. But I said don't wait up. 𝐀𝐻𝐻 stops. Oh yeah, you did, haha. They head to her place and say goodbyes. After a bunch of kissing, of course. Anyhow, after reaching home, Izuku starts getting a bad feeling something will happen soon. He feels fear. True fear for the first time in years. The following day they were hounded by reporters who recognized Izuku, but he expertly avoided the questions by stating he was late for a meeting with Nezu about that. After reaching class, it was decided they'd choose a class rep. After a stupid vote idea from Ida, Izuku won with 7 votes and Momo with Izuku gladly accepted the position, as did Momo. Until that, his Kaminari tried to tease them about not being engaged. Sighing, Izuku turned around and stepped to Momo, who was blushing, until he whispers, "Kiss me so they'll believe us, okay?" He reached up and placed his hand gently on her cheek as he slowly moved it behind her ear, and leaned in as Momo was having a minor mental break. Then suddenly it happened. In a flash of electricity their lips met and she melted into his arms as both felt time slow down and that energy surge through their bodies. After a minute they broke the kiss, leaving Momo breathless as well as hot and bothered. The girls all were drooling, waiting to get their sweet first kiss too. Well, 𝐀𝐻𝐻 had hers with him, but damn it, that was fing hot, okay. The boys, even Todoroki, were in awe at the act. Kaminari and 𝐬𝐻𝐻 crying tears of so believe us now, Kaminari. Kaminari growled a response. Thank you. Also, boys, be careful around my girls. I will be informed upon any violation of their right to privacy. Any pervy action and not even recovery girl could put you back together again. Understood? All the boys except Ida, who just had his fing brain come back and started barking. Izuku nailed him with a keyblade to shut him up and nobody complained. At lunch all the girls and Todoroki sat with Izuku. Izuku was telling Todoroki it'd be safest to apologize to Mina. Todoroki stood up and went to her. I am so very sorry for any pain, fear, or stress I have caused you with my action yesterday. I was being a childish brat, throwing a tantrum. I am very thankful Izuku was there to save you. If not, the consequences would be too much for me to bear. Please, Miss Mina Ishido, accept my sincerest apology. Mina was shocked by this change and nervously looked at Izuku, who slowly nodded. I was terrified at what happened. I thought Izuku was gonna die. Todoroki, it may take time to forgive you, but I will accept your apology. Just please don't let your anger get to you again. Todoroki smiled. I can ask no more of you. I will earn your forgiveness someday, I promise. We both owe our being here still to Izuku. He proved to me that I was just acting like a brat and not taking this seriously. He is a good person. Mina Ishido, Momo Yaoyorozu, Tsuyu Azui, Toru Hagakure, Kyokujiro, and Ochako Uraraka. I pray that you can take the darkness of his past away, as he is trying to help me with mine. I know he would never mistreat any of you. Thank you for hearing me out. I was afraid you would not give a chance to speak after my actions. All the girls were blushing and said your welcomes and stuff. Then Izuku spoke. To return to the light from a past as dark as mine will take time, 𝐀𝐻𝐻, but with you 8 beside me, nothing will stop me from doing so. By the way, Momo, that was an amazing kiss in class. He says as he waits for the chaos to ensue while 𝐀𝐻𝐻 smirks. Immediately Momo turns red as she remembers it, and the other girls start to drool and trying to kiss him all at once. But the fun was cut short by an alarm. Momo, please make a megaphone. Stay here, you guys, I will settle them down. Momo does as asked, and after grabbing it he walks to the corridor and looks out the window before throwing his keyblade to the left over the exit and warps to it. He informs them it's just the media and to take the injured to Recovery Girl. After that they all head to class. Here they find out they're going on rescue training to the USJ. Everyone grabs their costumes and heads to the bus with the Beta Beach Ida trying to boss others around. Ida, if you're trying to get me all hot and bothered, I'm sorry bro, not into men. Now this bus is not the type you assumed. I am the class rep, not you. You have no authority here and need to relax. Go ride Kaminari over there and shut up, better yet ride Kaminari as you blow 𝐶𝐮𝐱. I've diamin near had my limit with you, ya limp ped latent homosexual. Now everyone hop into the bus, we have rescue training to commence. Even Jiro was blown away by what Izuku said. DDMN green bean. Did you have to be so lethal? Izuku laughs. Nope. Just wanted to. Kid is annoying as hell. He needs to pull that massive log out of his butt and relax. Said Izuku with a laugh. As they say down, he had Ochako on one side and Mina on the other, each hugging an arm into their bios. Before Jiro could sit, Kaminari f's up and calls her a flat-chested lesbian after she stabbed his ear for perving on Momo. Oh, I know Kaminari did not just insult my rock goddess. Because if he did, I will slice his tiny pee-pee off and throw it to the goddamn moon. Apologize now, dumbass. Kaminari, fearing immediate castration and or death, begged for forgiveness, which he did not receive. Stabbed a lot, yes. Good, now sit there and stay quiet for rest of the ride. Rock goddess, come here. There's a seat right here called my lap, feel free to fill it up. Izuku says with a smirk after Mina and Ochako told him he had to do it. Blushing, Jiro did as asked. See, Kaminari, this is why I am engaged to my keyblade-wielding king. Not some 2-bit one-shot electric brat who only wants section. Oh wow, Isa, did I make that happen? Stopping dead, all the boys and girls look over and notice a shivering Izuku and a very blushing Jiro with her hand covering something only Mina, Ochako, herself, and Izuku could see. Izuku really wished she didn't point that out. What is it wrong that it gets hard for my fiancés? She may not be built like the other girls, but my rock goddess is CC as hell in her own way. Also, quit staring, I ain't about to drop trousers and do the dirty. Izuku says as Mina and the girls burst out laughing and the boys blushing. Ida doing his best to not yell. He reached his hand up and Aizawa asks what he wants, making everyone nervous. Holy 𝐶𝐮𝐴, when did he get here? Asks 𝐶𝐮𝐱. Izuku sighs. Before we left he was in here after everyone hopped in, genius. How did you just now notice? Aizawa laughs at that. Okay, Midoriya family. Got some great lines. Now Ida, what do you want? Ida looks so said. How are you letting them get away with this, sensei? Aizawa blinks a few times. They're engaged, dumbass. If they want to flirt around when not busy with school work, the F am I supposed to do? Hog-tie them and toss them in a closet. That was the moment the boys realized there's no rule against engaged or married couples flirting and teasing. Plus this kid is smarter than Nezu. Why risk pissing him off? Jiro snorts. Because he wants a ride on my fiancé's magic popsicle and I ain't down for that shiz. Aizawa loses his SHT along with the class. That ended Ida for the rest of the trip. As we were going, Jiro whispers, did I really make your PP hard, Izuku? I sigh, yes you did, 𝐀𝐮. Why is that a surprise? You're very CC just like all the girls. She blushes as 𝐶𝐮𝐱 mouths off saying, I guarantee you wouldn't actually kiss her. Izuku snarls as he turns to 𝐀𝐮, who looked sad. Rock goddess, look at me, he says as he quickly spins her around so she's basically hugging his chest with her knees between Mina's and Oka's legs. Why is Zuzu? She says, drooling a bit as she now has the bulge pressed into her pages. Izuku leans forward as he whispers, get ready for the best kiss I can give. Before she can even react, Izuku kisses her as she melts into it, which everyone watches in awe. Jiga-diamen, why do I say SHT, 𝐶𝐮𝐱 says. Meanwhile, Izuku and 𝐀𝐮 are currently blasting out a combined heartbeat to the universe. For a couple minutes until they break the kiss. Kyoka is stunned, silent and breathing heavy. Told you boys, she is just as CC as the rest of my fiancés. Each are appealing and CC in their own way. Until you understand that, do not dare insult myself or them for this. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to revive her. Oka get the stabby thingy of jabbiness. The girls and some boys laugh as Izuku leans into Kyo. If any boy had a brain, Kyoka, they'd see you as I do. Your body is indeed CC even without big curves. I am sorry for how you've been feeling your life. But understand this. You deserve someone. Someone who sees the appealing, wonderful, talented woman we see before us. She tried but couldn't help the tears as himself Mina and Oka hug her. Aizawa spoke up. See kids, that there is how you treat a woman. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, after class you both need to write a 100,000-word essay on why you are perverted and how to change. I will not have anyone discriminate any girl in my class. If you do, I leave the punishment to Izuku. After all, he's their fiancé. I cannot in good conscience ignore his duty as a future husband to these appealing ladies you see before you. Also, Ida, please stop masturbating back there. This is not the time nor place, you sick punk. Shoto, who unfortunately had to sit by Ida, jumped away. Holy, he really was masturbating, you sick F, what the hell? Yelled a panicked Todoroki. The boys and girls laugh as they see the 1-incher he packing. Taking pics and video as blackmail, Ida panics and spurts on Kaminari before covering up. Oh god, no! Screams Kaminari like he dying. Izuku laughs then freezes as Jiro is slowly grinding on him and miming quietly. Panicking, he just freezes up. Mina and Ochako notice and blush. Diamond girl, is he really that hard and hot for you? 'Cause you're about to F him through his breathes. Guess he got you corny as hell too. Says Mina. Ochako has to grab Jiro by the waist to settle her down. Okay down girl. Please don't RP him. Jiro finally realizes what's happening and squeaks. 𝐂𝐮𝐬𝐴 was so hot. By the way, Oka, he is fing huge. Izuku sweat drops as Aizawa coughs and turns further away. Thanks Kyo. Says Izuku as Jiro moves so that Wood isn't pressing into her. Momo, Toru, and Tsu were all imagining they could be sitting there as are Mina and Oka, but at least those two are next to him. They try to hide their thighs rubbing together. Finally they arrive and Kyoka regretfully climbs off of Izuku. He then stands up and everyone notices, holy F. She really did get him hard. Yelled Kaminari. Yeah, he puts Kirishima to shame, hee, says Mina staring at the large bulge. Kirishima blushes for manly reasons. Anyway, the kids head inside to a fated battle that would end poorly for one Izuku Midoriya. 13 was there, which made Oka fangirl. Izuku just sort of stood there until Momo came over. Are you okay, Izuku? She asked as he shivered. Yes, just need to relax, hee. Momo giggles. Do all of us really cause that? Or just me, Kyo and Oka? Because after our kiss I noticed that too. Izuku sighs. Yes. I told Ochako about that and she laughed, saying well, she picked the right boy after all. I'm still not sure what she meant, but sounded SXO. Momo blushed. W, that is rather good to hear. Ahem. I hope she helps you take care of that. Izuku nods in agreement, then has an out-of-body experience and slaps the SHT out of himself. Wait, what? He asks as Momo shuffles her feet. You know what I meant, Izuku. You two aren't stupid, you know how to be safe and the other methods to invoke a release. Izuku has died. Yep, he clearly has to have died because girls are all over him. Jiro basically dry humped the hell out of him. Momo keeps drooling at his lips and bulge. SHT is getting weird. But why are you concerned about this, Momo? He asked, confused. Sai, there's a reason we all agreed to be your fake fiancé. After today's class I'll gather the girls and you and come to my place. We'll talk there, okay? Izuku just nods and then Momo notices the pervs wriggling their eyebrows and Ochako nodding. Oh, we have to kiss again. Apparently. Izuku just shrugs. I don't mind. You're a good kisser. He says without thinking. Then realizes it and blushes as he looks at Ochako. She nods and he relents. He kisses Momo again and just like before massive energy surges through them. The reason for that is still unknown to him. Soon they break the kiss and Momo again has the same reaction she did in class. Goddamn, you really are way too good at that. Says Momo, surprising Izuku with her choice of words. They walk into the USJ. Unaware they're about to face life and death. As well as see what horrors their class rep must face. foes from his past. Stronger and deadlier than the ones he fought, and no one, not even All Might, can take them on and win. Wow, they even got fake villains, shouts Kirishima as the class looks on. Oh my god. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽𝐻. They're back. Get the class out now. Only I can face these foes. Go now. Roars Izuku, summoning his Oblivion and 𝐻𝐻𝐿. Aizawa immediately knows what Izuku means and orders the class out. The girls protest and some boys too. Girls, thanks for your concern. Okay, these are the things that killed my mother. Only I have the ability to stop them. This is why my keyblades exist. Please, I can't go all out with you all here. If I don't go 100%, you all will die in horrible ways beyond your comprehension. Ida the dumbass, he has tried to protest only to get captured by Aizawa. The kid's right. We need to leave now, says Aizawa as Izuku makes his walk to the battlefield alone. Keyblades in hand, he runs forward, slashing in high-speed flurries, cutting down dozens of foes in seconds. The class knows even as powerful as their rep is, he can't win alone, but if they stay they all die. Unfortunately, they don't get a choice. Kurogiri appears and separates the class, forcing Izuku to focus on many fronts as he has to save them. The Loth thought of many outcomes. This one boy flying all around the USJ saving his classmates from death and other fates was not one of them. Landslide zone, he has to rescue Momo, Kyoka, and Kaminari from dozens of Heartless. Kaminari thinks he can help and blasts his quirk, making him even dumber. As it fails and the girls are prepared to die, 𝐻𝐻𝐿 comes flying in and slices 8 Heartless down before Izuku flies to it and starts unleashing all his rage on the Heartless. He grabs them and takes down the hidden electricity user, then drops them off, before heading through each zone one after the other, always forced to face many Heartless. His nightmares made real. Worst yet, he can't find Ochako. He returns to the entrance with Toru and Shoto, heals the teachers and again orders all to leave. Ida left earlier to try and gain some glory for being the real representative. The dumbass. Anyway, Izuku once again orders them all out. He is doing his best, but because he has to hold back, he is taking a lot of damage. Then they hear from Shoji. Uraraka is being held captive in the center by the top villains. The girls panic as they know what's about to happen. Izuku turns and walks to the center. Surrounded by all manner of Heartless, he roars and uses multiple spells. I won't let you hurt the ones I love ever. Aagagui. I failed mother, I won't fail ever again. I will fight. I will win even if I die, do you hear me? The girls now realize what killed his mother while he was forced to watch was these things. Dear God in heaven, he isn't going to fight. He's going to willingly die to try and save her. Why didn't you all listen before, goddammit? He is our only hope against these things. Not even All Might can beat them. He fought the weak ones and got decimated. Nezu will kill me for this, damn it, yelled Aizawa as tears fell from his eyes. The kids finally realize the severity of this situation. Izuku uses his most powerful magic, strongest attacks, and anything else he can muster, but then the large Heartless slams Ochako to the ground. Just then All Might appears, but his smile is gone. Oh my god. Aizawa, why are the kids still here? He could have killed all the Heartless in a minute if they had left, says a distraught All Might, terrifying the kids more as they're all crying now. I'm sorry, All Might. We failed. It's up to him. I pray he can somehow pull this out of his butt. All Might, scared but still a hero, damn it, charges the Heartless and goes on a bestial rampage. He throws smash after smash in every direction, but he knows it's a wasted effort. Just as Nezu and the others arrive, they see All Might get taken out and the beast attack Ochako. Then everyone loses their lunch and spirit for battle. The demon did not kill Ochako. Instead, he got Izuku. His arm through Izuku's torso, destroying his heart. The Keyblade MSTR is dead. Now no one can stop the Heartless. Shigaraki is roaring with laughter and talking all about 𝐀𝐻𝐿 plan. Ochako is crying after hearing her boyfriend's last words. They were, I love you, Ochako Uraraka. She screams. A bestial scream of pain and loss. You. But not this time. His body turns into fireflies. She cries in her despair when a shadow, the lowest ranked Heartless, comes up to her and pokes her. Just kill me already. Without him, how can I stand as a hero? The Heartless shakes its head and points to the doors. All her friends were there. The staff. Everyone. But they couldn't save the boy. She stands up and walks towards them. Shigaraki, wanting to see the results, has the Heartless let her pass. They reach the stairs. Thanks. Yes. You can go back to your buddies now. The Heartless again shakes his head and pulls her up the stairs. To her friends. Her boyfriend's friends. They make it up as she drops to her knees in despair. The girl cries. The class cries. The staff cried. Ida though. Ida gloats at the idea of the arrogant son of Nezu getting himself killed. The Heartless steps between Ida and Ochako. Ida tries to kick it, but gets knocked off his butt hard. Then punched in the stomach so hard he immediately vomits blood everywhere. No one does a thing. They couldn't stop it if they tried. But it stops itself. It turns around and pats Ochako on the head. Ochako looks up at the shadow. It tilts its head and kneels down to point at the keychain. The keychain that Ochako was told to always carry, but not the reason why. Oath Keeper. Izuku, he wanted you to have the last thing he got his mother before. These things killed her. They were after him, but found only her. That day at the age of 10 he had been suffering. Almost suicidal due to the hell he went through. He was told he was useless. Worthless. A Deku. But that day, that boy faced demons. He won. But at a cost. He was forced to watch them kill his mother. One of only 3 humans who treated him as a human. His biggest supporter. Torn from his life because a villain. From another world. Wanted him. Ida, you're a goddamn idiot. My son was not arrogant nor prideful. He was a wounded, abused boy full of pain. He could have been a villain. One not even All Might could stop. Or a hero of many worlds. Now he is gone. And we are doomed. Says a distraught Nezu. The students cry as the Heartless places his hand on Ochako's. Izuku. Is that you? She says, scaring everyone. Izuku was lost. Lost in a vast sea of darkness. He saw bits and pieces of his life. His best and worst moments. Even that day. The day he lost his mother. Unable to save her. Unable to be her hero. He knew. He knew he was dead. But he had people who needed him. People to save. Loved ones to protect. He watched through the eyes of a Heartless as he aided her. His first true friend. It led her to the class and staff. He heard everything. He saw everything. He had to help. He had to do something. Damn it, body move. With all his strength he got the hand to place itself on hers. Please, Ochako, hear my plea. You can save me. Take Oath Keeper in your hand. Hug this broken shadow and pour your heart into me. All the love and light we share. Please, Ochako, be my hero. He begged with all his heart. Izuku. Is that you? He hears. Yes, Oka. Please, you can save me. Give me the power to stop these guys. Please. He begged again and again, 1,000,000 times or more. Then he felt it. The Oath Keeper and her love and light. His power grew and grew as the light inside him shot towards her own. Ochako took Oath Keeper and placed it in her hand and the Heartless hand too and hugged it before anyone could stop her. Suddenly a brilliant gold light burst forth and there. Standing there in a red and black version of his costume was Izuku Midoriya, and he was smiling again. Thank you, Oka, for keeping your oath and granting me access to its blade. I will always come back to you alive. Now I need to finish this fight. Everyone, stay here. This valor form is new. I have not gotten full control over it, so stay out of this fight. Oh, and Oka, he said before he hugged and kissed her, feeling that majestic energy flow through him. Thank you, my love, he said before he raced off into battle again. He ran and stood before the 100 of enemies. Hey, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐵, he yelled, making Shigaraki look at him. What? The Heartless killed you. How are you not dead? Izuku smiled. I am Izuku Midoriya. I am the Keyblade Emissary. The Heartless can't kill what they can't erase. My light is special. No matter how dark the darkness becomes, light will always push through it. But you made one fatal mistake today, Shigaraki. You hurt my loved ones. I have no control over this form. If I were you, I would leave before I kill you on principle alone. Come on, Heartless, walk into your death. My blades will bring the light to save the hearts you have stolen. He yelled as he rushed forward, killing almost everything in a single blow. His classmates, the UA staff, his father Nezu, his aunt and uncle, last but not least his mother, they all supported him. They all gave him strength. And he was not going to fail any of them ever again. I am Izuku Midoriya. I am the symbol of light and hope. I will never lose to Heartless. I will defeat you here and now, Shigaraki. He yelled as he charged through the biggest and baddest Heartless there were. He tore them apart like they were paper, getting more powerful until finally he stood before the last Heartless and charged up a powerful battle cry. A legendary mighty roar. Before he leaped into the air with Oblivion and Oathkeeper charging light onto his Oathkeeper, he roared. Ragnarok. Several lasers shot out and blasted into the boss Heartless that lead the assault. Shigaraki almost laughed until the Heartless began to emit light. What did you do? He yelled just as the Heartless exploding into black mist, and they saw before Shigaraki was Izuku. Blades at the ready. I will not let you hurt anyone I care for, man-child. Tell that to AFO as well. As I'm not the successor to All Might, I have my own quirk. Built to kill Heartless. Run along, little pup. I know if I try to capture you then you will warp out. Get out from behind me, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. I can sense darkness. Now go. Before I get angry and kill you both where you stand. Growling, Shigaraki tells 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 to wrap them home. Izuku smiles as he turns around. Walking towards the entrance, he sees all the girls rushing to him. As soon as Oka hugs him, though, his form reverts and he passes out. Terrified, the girls don't know what to do. As Recovery Girl comes to him. 5 days. For 5 days Izuku lay unconscious. He kept his word and saved them all. He died for his love, and his love brought him back to the living world. But even he, as powerful as he was, could not heal the damage caused to his mind. He was walking through his own mindscape, viewing his life through the mirrors in each room of the castle his mindscape presented. King of the world in my mind. 5 days have I lain in bed, he said as he was unable to wake up, forced to relive the sheer hell that was his life. Every moment, every injury, every word. As well, he was forced many times a day to watch his greatest failure. The day she left this world. The comatose King Izuku. Oka would like that and laugh. I wish I could speak to her. To them. I wish I could return to the waking world. They need me. They need the Keyblade 𝐴𝐵𝐵. Without me, they're alone in the fight against Heartless. They will fight. A valiant, brave battle. But they will all fall. Each one struck down. Because of me. I need to escape this place and return. I did it before inside the shadow. I need to do it again. If not, this world falls. Please, 𝐴𝐵𝐵, tell me how I can come back. He said, turning to the blade. Young MSTR, even I do not know. But I will help you protect this world. I can gift power to aid others. The power to wield the Keyblades. They won't get as strong as you, but they will gain the power to fight the Heartless. Who shall you choose to get these powers? Who else but my 8 friends? Hitoshi Shinso, Shoto Todoroki, Kyokujiro, Mina Ishido, Toru Hagakure, Tsuyu Azui, Momo Yaoyorozu, and Ochako Uraraka. When they get the powers, can you talk with them? The 𝐴𝐵𝐵 Keyblade shimmered. Yes, young Esther. For I am the 𝐴𝐵𝐵 Keyblade. Any Keyblade wielder can hear my voice. But I don't know if they could hear yours. I am sorry, Izuku. You fought so hard for them all. Now you're here. Unable to fight. Unable to speak. All because that being from another world has his sights set on you. Izuku smiled. It's okay. As long as my friends and my world is safe, my pain doesn't matter. Make them strong, 𝐴𝐵𝐵 Keyblade. As strong as each can become. I miss them. But tell them Izuku will return stronger than ever and that this is a gift from me. I will. Think. Izuku let to be alone. The 𝐴𝐵𝐵 Keyblade, even though not human, wished it could do more. Its 𝐴𝐵𝐵 needs it. It will find a way. Ochako Uraraka was a mess. She was healed but spent every day with Izuku for as much time as she could. She watched him die for her. Then a miracle happened and he returned with a vengeance. He tore through the villains and Heartless. He was unbeatable in that form. He spent every ounce of strength to save them. Everything. Why won't he wake up? No one knows. The other girls as well as 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and Todoroki did the same. The boy helped each one. In some form or fashion. The unkillable Izuku. The kindest boy with the darkest past. Beat down by society. Nearly killed by his only friend who viewed him as weak and turned his back on him. Forced to watch his mother die. Unable to save her from these demons. He gave his all to save their lives. They could do nothing. But then that night a being visited each of them. Hitoshi 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐴. Can you hear my call? Scared out of his mind, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐴 spoke. Who is T there? The voice chuckled. I am Izuku's quirk. The 𝐀𝐮𝐴𝐵. He asked me to give each of 8 friends a gift. Confused and scared, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐴 didn't know what to do. A gift? From Izuku? The voice giggled. Relax, young 𝐀𝐮𝐴. Izuku's gift is a weaker version of his quirk. You 8 will gain keyblades. And magic with them. You will need help. The 8 of you are now all that stands against the Heartless. Until Mr. Izuku returns, please use the keyblades to protect this world. Izuku said to tell the lavender zombie to go to bed and trust me. I know not what that means, but I hope this helps you protect this world, young 𝐀𝐮𝐴. Stunned as there was only one person who called him that, he believed the voice and did as Izuku said to get his keyblade. Imagining a keyblade as hard as he could, and in a flash of light, he had gained the power of Izuku. Holy hell! Izuku, you trust me enough to wield such a power. Even weaker than yours, this is still a huge power. I will take up in your stead. Come back strong, my friend. Todoroki did not know what to do. He was laying in bed trying to figure out a way to help Izuku. Todoroki. Can you hear me? Oh, if that's creepy. Yes, who's there? He felt a power from that voice, an awe-inspiring power. The Mr. Keyblade. Izuku's quirk. He has a gift for you, young Prince of Ice and Flame. The powerful gift. The gift is a weakened form of his quirk. While weaker, it will be enough for the 8 friends of my Mr. to fight the battle he cannot at this time. You 8 must train hard to Mr. these keyblades and their magic. Face the Heartless who tried to kill him. Oh, and he said to tell 𝐻𝐻𝐵 he'd better be training his fire half too. My Mr. is an odd one. Shoto was stunned. If Izuku trusted him and the 7 others this much, he has no choice but to accept. He remembered hearing him say, think of the keyblades and they'll appear. In no time he was holding the powerful weapon in his hands. Teary-eyed, his friend trusted him this power to fight when he can't. For you, my friend, I will fight just as hard as you did that day. Please come back to us. Kyokujiro was crying, holding the plushie of their badass fake fiancé who each yearned to be his. Come back, Zuzu. Come back to us. They all had to tell him something important. Kyokujiro. Are you there? She jumped scared. Who is in my head? She held the plushie tighter. A friend. I'm the Mr. Keyblade. Izuku Midoriya's quirk. He has a gift for you and the 7 others. Izuku's quirk. How do I know that this is the truth? The voice chuckled. Tell Rock Goddess she is super CC, and yes, she caused that with her cute butt on the bus. Oh boy. Zuzu really did send you to me. The voice giggled. That he did. His gift is a keyblade and magic. Not as powerful as me, but you and his 7 other friends were chosen to fight the Heartless in his place. Will you accept this mighty power, Kyo? Well, if that don't beat all. In a heartbeat, yes. He needs rest after fighting so hard. I'll lighten his loads. She thought of the blade, and after a moment it appeared. Thanks, Green Bean, for everything you have done so far. For what you will do in the future. Toru Hagakure was unable to sleep. Thoughts of her love in a coma plague her nightmares as well as when he died. Toru Hagakure, well, that can't be good. What, who said that? She searched the room. I'm the Mr. Keyblade. Izuku's quirk. To ask if her new costume is done. Oh. It was him. Yes, it is, but why are you here, Mr. Keyblade? It chuckled. To give you and the 7 other friends he selected great power. To wield keyblades and magic. He may be unable to fight for now, but he wants you 8 to carry his torch. Also, he said, whatever I do, don't mention, wondering how CC you will look in it. Oh, I was not to mention that as MSTR is now very red-faced. She was floored how CC she'll look in it. Thank you, will fight for you. Maybe soon with you, she said as her keyblade materialized in her hands. The man Ishido loves is in a coma and Mina was not doing well, she barely slept and ate. Miss Alien Queen Mina Ishido. Are you able to hear me? Oh, that was freaky. Why yeah. That was weird. Izuku's quirk MSTR Keyblade. He has a gift for you and his 7 other friends to wield keyblades and magic. Just like him, only not as powerful. This surprised her, but she thought about it before saying, even so, I'll gladly fight for him and alongside out friends. He saved me and then everyone, it's the least I could do. The voice left and she tried it and boom, keyblade. Tsu was feeling horrible. Everyone failed but Izuku. Now the man she loves is in a coma. But unknown could be overuse of quirk. Tsu-chan, can you hear me? That was a new one, yes. What do you want? I am Izuku's quirk. He wants to gift the 8 friends power to wield keyblades and magic. Okay, that sounds good, but why? The voice key again. In order to fight the darkness as he does with keyblade and magic. To fight alongside the other 7 friends together, you will defend this world in his place until he can find a way to return Tsu. Tsu summoned her keyblade as tears fell. Izuku, this power, this gift. If you believe in us, we will use it to save and protect. Thank you for everything. Momo Yaoyorozu, princess of an empty castle, worried for the boy who saved them. Yamamo, I'm the quirk of his. 𝐴𝐻𝐿 Keyblade. So that's weird. Izuku's quirk is sentient. She asked. To an extent. Izuku has gifts for you and the 7 other friends. The gift is a weaker version of his quirk. You'll gain the power to use keyblades and magic. Not as powerful as his own, but very powerful. He also says he is sorry he didn't get to be there for you girls like you asked. Then if that's true, she thought and tried to summon the blade as Izuku said he does. Within seconds it worked. Come back, Zuku. You'll see we're far stronger because of your power and for the 6 of us girls, our trust and love for you. Ochako was hoping to see him wake up and soon, but she is not sure why he won't. Ochako Uraraka. Are you able to hear me? Ochako snapped her eyes wide open. Who's there? I am MSTR Keyblade. Izuku's quirk. He has a gift for his Machi and 7 other friends. The ability to use his quirk. A weaker variant, but you get to summon keyblades and magic to face the Heartless. Just as he does. He asks you and his friends face the Heartless until he returns. As well as thank you holding Oath Keeper for him. He doesn't know when or if he will return, but he will try to find you all. Izuku has entrusted his friends enough to have us fight until he's back, huh? Then we must do as he asks. To fight in his stead. Just please awaken soon, Izuku. She says as she summons the Keyblade. The 8 the next day ask for Aizawa and Nezu when they head to school. Both show up and as they do, the 8 stand there each holding a kingdom Keyblade, saying Izuku's quirk sent these gifts and magic into them the night prior. To keep this world safe from Heartless. Ochako was the essential leader as she knew most about his quirk. The staff, once seeing this, decided the 8 wielders would need their help to become the defenders they would need them to be. They did not have any clue if he would return, but they would help them since school finally started back up again. They had put dorms together for students to protect them better, as well as the punishments for one Tenya Ida. Though Izuku's room was placed right next to Ochako's. Just in case he wakes up soon. Aizawa had entered the class early, and as soon as all the students had come, he spoke. Class, we have some news regarding 8 students here. They have been given assistance from Izuku's quirk. As it turns out, the quirk is somewhat sentient. It gifted Hitoshi 𝐶𝐿, Shoto Todoroki, Toru Hagakure, Tsuyu Azui, Mina Ishido, Kyoka Jiro, Momo Yaoyorozu, and Ochako Uraraka the ability to use weakened versions of his quirk. The class was busy processing this information. When their souls returned to their bodies, they would lose their Fing minds. Tenya, of course, but he has tried to speak. That's impossible even for that arrogant scum. That was all he got out before the 8 friends summoned their blades and began surrounding his butt. Tenya Ida. You never learn. Izuku gave you so many chances, yet you still refuse to grow up. Said Ochako as Aizawa walked over. No, you arrogant SHT for brains punk. He was never arrogant. He is humble, hard-working, honest, loyal, kind, and caring. You, however, are every bit the way you describe my nephew. His father has stated you and Ochako Uraraka are to visit his office. Try not to break your limbs on the way, trash. He winked at Ochako, who had a devilish grin on her face. Ida, on the other hand, was terrified. As he should be. The class laughed their butts off as soon as the door closed behind them, and they heard Ida crying in pain. Mainly from having both legs broken. Oh my Mr. Tenya, Ida. You really should pay attention when climbing stairs. You seem to have taken a tumble, said Nezu as the two had entered his office. I didn't fall. This ugly beach broke my legs. He screamed before being bashed again in the head by Ochako again. Oh dear me, you fell down again. Sadly, you seem so clumsy. Anyway, on to important matters. 𝐾𝐮𝐦𝐸𝐴, you may enter now, said Nezu, and a very set-off Tensai Ida entered the room. Well, if it ain't my dipshit clumsy brother. Tenya panicked. His brother never spoke of him that way before. I don't understand, why are you acting in such a way? Said a crying Ida. Oh, you don't, do you? How about how you've been treating my friends since the entrance exam? Confused, Tenya asked, what do you mean? Who is this friend of yours, Tensei? 𝐾𝐮𝐸𝐴 growled as he stomped over to his possibly soon-to-die brother. Izuku Midoriya, you fing moron. You know, class rep. The kid who uses keyblades. The kid you've been trying to pretend was an arrogant liar. The kid who died fighting demons to protect all of the staff in class only to come back to this world and destroy the heartless. The kid who taught me better ways to use my quirk and tried so hard to keep from killing your but especially with how you spoke of his family. Any of this ringing a goddamn bell, dipshit. Oh boy. Ida has now begun the cry and beg for leniency subroutine of being a beta bottom beach. Newsflash, no one gave a DMN. You have every step of the way tried to prove you were superior to him. All because he aced the exams and you barely passed. You have been using our family's name to try and curry favor. Guess what, WhatIf? Mom, who is very good friends with Izuku, has come to a decision. You're disowned. Kicked out, and she says tell the effer if he even tried to return home she's calling the cops on you. She can't believe how selfish, rude, and immature you have been acting. Tenya was now in tears. He couldn't believe it. How did he F my life over so badly, that pathetic weakling? Oh, if no. But Tenya just initiated prove stupid SHT wrong and had a monitor drop down in front of him. As Nezu gave an order. Tenya, since you think he's weak, watch this dumbass. The screen turned on and video of All Might nearly being killed months ago facing a group of shadow and soldier types. Then Izuku showed up and in seconds wiped them out. Followed by footage of the USJ, where he rescued the 17 members of 1A who were scattered across the USJ, as well as healing them all and Aizawa and 13. Dying, saving Ochako, then nearly killing Tenya as a shadow himself before Ochako brought him back. Before he killed every heartless there. Weak is far and away from my son Tenya. All Might almost died fighting weak heartless. My son is one of the strongest on the planet. Humble, kind, caring, brave, loyal, intelligent, selfless, strong, etc., etc. You, however, are weak. You know nothing of strength or how he earned his strength trying to save his mother, which had awoken his quirk. He almost died, and unfortunately his mother did not live long. She died mere moments before the ambulance arrived. He survived bullying and attacks from quirked classmates and even teachers and some police and heroes before that for being mistaken as quirkless. My son Tenya is a true hero. He doesn't care for money, fame, or power. Just helping others and saving people. You know the very foundations for being a hero. He saved 𝐾𝐮𝐸𝐴's life and your mother's both in the same moment. Or do you not remember when they almost died in an assassination attempt when their limo was targeted by villains a year ago? He beat the villains and pulled them and the driver out before the limo exploded. Sai, it doesn't matter, you are expelled and blacklisted from every hero course in every school in Japan. You had multiple chances to change and did not even try. Also, for your actions on the bus to USJ, you're to be arrested for what was it? Oh, masturbating on the bus in sight of 18 students and Aizawa. As well as being registered as a SXL offender. Enjoy that, you sick BSTRD. Tenya had his world pulled out from under him, began crying and bellowing about how it's all that Deku's fault before 𝐻𝐻𝐽 had enough and began beating him with her keyblade. He begged for help but nobody cared. After the beating he was forced to return all UA property and arrested. No one bothered to heal him as Recovery Girl refused to do so, saying, "F that shithead." He constantly verbally assaulted her grandson for no reason whatsoever, before forcing a special concoction down his throat that made him lose bladder and bowel control. 𝐻𝐻 was informed and they all cheered at the news. Afterwards they were going to leave to train for the sports festival and to move their things into the dorms but were stopped by a bunch of jealous, whiny students. Worst of them all was Nito Monoma. Well, if it's not 1A, the arrogant stuck-up weaklings who let their weak as hell class rep nearly die. That apparently did not go so well with 1A. As 8 students pulled out keyblades and began firing off a variety of spells at him, upon reflection Nito regretted ever opening his mouth. Turns out 1A was not to be fed with. The 1B rep decided she had enough and dragged Monoma to his fate at the hands of paws of Nezu. The sheer terror in the screams from his office was spoken of for millennia to come, as Monoma was then expelled and never heard from again. Heard about though as a victim of RPE and castration before bleeding to death, and not even his own family gave 2 essages. The sports festival winner was 𝐻𝐻𝐽 Uraraka. Second was Shoto. Third was 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 and Momo. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐵 was attacked but came away with a few cuts as Stain did not try to kill him, just scare him. During internship, Stain was captured by the 4 placeholders of the sports festival. None were punished as all had been granted permission to fight Stain from the heroes they interned with, thanks to being chosen to fight Stain in order to test their keyblade quirks against actual enemies in a life and death battle. Each had earned multiple keyblades by this point. Only Stain sustained any serious injuries. The 8 wielders had become much stronger. The number 2 Endeavor was outed for his crimes and Rei Himura was given the mansion and all remaining funds. Rei actually met Izuku long ago but had not been made privy to the full story as Rei was monitored by Enji. She was saddened to hear of the boy's fate as Shoto explained everything. Shoto was surprised she knew Izuku and how Izuku had helped her with her mental state. He never knew as Izuku never said he knew her, but there was a hint the day of battle training Shoto did remember. He spoke of how Shoto would be taught to become the hero she knew he could be. Fuyumi as well met him but never explained the situation. But she was saved by him as well. She had been attacked one night and the mysterious boy of green beat the attackers and helped her escape. The 2 Himura women were depressed over what's become of him. He was so happy and cheerful that they never knew his dark past, but vowed that once he woke up they'd find a way to help him. The class was doing well, but it had been weeks since USJ and their class reps still slept. No one could explain it, but as the days dragged into weeks the likelihood of his promised return would lessen, but his body seemed to get stronger every day even if he was forced to sleep. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 and the 1A girls decided that once he wakes up the girls would explain their feelings for the mighty green boy who saved them all and granted them his power to save others. 𝐻𝐻𝐽 had become accepting of the idea of her boyfriend being the real fiancé for them all. After all, he deserved it. Without him they'd all be dead. Without him she'd never have got into UA. The 8 would spend hours every day visiting him and talking to him, telling them about all that happened to them each day in hopes it helps him return the waking world. "God, it's been weeks, Sir Keyblade, and we still have no clue how I can escape here and return to my loved ones." Izuku growled. He had his friends visit him daily but unable to communicate or awaken. It was getting frustrating. He needed to go to help them in the war of good versus evil. His class would visit his room in the hospital from time to time, but mainly only the 8 as the rest did not know what to say or do. They'd only visit a short time before bolting. Time came for some exams that if passed would allow the class to attend a summer camp. Failure would result in being barred from it. Only a few failed, but none were members of the. They bonded as a team and became extremely strong compared to the rest of the UA students in all years. But the only thing they cared about was the return of the boy who made it all possible. They trained hard and during summer camp they met little Koda and the Pussycats. They told him of Izuku and his story. This helped the boy get an understanding of why heroes do what they do. Koda really wanted to meet this Izuku Midoriya, but they told him how he fought demons that even All Might couldn't beat and was in a coma after dying and returning to save his class. This made Kota sad as the boy already had a difficult life before but they said when he wakes up they'd love for him to visit Izuku. Soon though tragedy struck. The camp was attacked by the 𝐻𝗳, as well as an army of Heartless. The 8 fought valiantly and slayed the Heartless but at a cost. Ochako was kidnapped. The 7 others had been exhausted from the battle and couldn't rescue her. This broke their hearts as they already lost Izuku to the villains when he fought and saved them all. But hope was not lost. Momo had made a tracking device and a boy from 1B was able to fuse it to a Nomu that was created as a backup plan if the Heartless weren't enough. She also made 2 trackers. One for the police and heroes. One for the 7 to use to track her down and save her life. Before they left they had visited Izuku and they spoke of what happened, begged his forgiveness and then left to rescue their second in command. But what they had not known was Izuku was to return this night. With a fiery vengeance and a few new forms and keyblades, he had earned training in his mindscape. They would soon see much more power from their leader, the Comatose King, than ever before this night. The 7 looked on in sheer terror. There in the center of the destroyed 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 ward, All Might was being wrecked by this demon. Having fought through waves of Heartless already, they knew they were too exhausted to help All Might fight the rest of the demons. But worse yet, Ochako was nearly killed by the Heartless and 𝐻𝗳. If only their true leader could help, but he's still in a mystical coma. None could understand. How could they rescue her and All Might, and how not to fail Izuku was their only thoughts, but what they hadn't known was a green blur was flying to them at insane speeds. Just as the Heartless and AFO were about to land the finishing blows, a powerful explosion slammed into the ground in front of the pair. Ochako was spent. She had been interrogated by the 𝐻𝗳 and AFO even attempted to steal her quirks. But the Keyblade quirk, having merged with her zero gravity, prevented that. Yet still, even after All Might appeared, she was teleported to 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 ward after AFO made his appearance known. The ward was destroyed. She saw her team fighting waves of Heartless. She herself fought hundreds. She managed to adapt a dual-wielding style similar to Izuku's own, swinging her Keyblades slaying Heartless, but her and All Might who came to her aid were being slowly destroyed. She stood in front of the real form of All Might and was defending him, but both were too exhausted to fight much longer. Just as the final blow was about to strike, she screamed, "Izuku!" To everyone's surprise on both sides, a green blur came flying at speeds thought unattainable and slammed into the ground in front of them. Please be Izuku, he's our only hope," she begged and pleaded. As the smoke cleared before her eyes stood the mighty Greenette holding Ultima weapon and Oathkeeper in his red valor form. "Hey Oka. Sorry for being late." The 8 heard and everyone's tears flowed. "Izuku. Is that are really you?" she asked and he smiled. "No, any other Keyblade are as handsome and muscular as me," he teased as she flew into his arms. Izuku smiled and hugged her before saying, "Get All Might and the 7 and flee, Ochako. I'm strong enough to handle this mess. But I need you and the others to escape so I can go 100%. I love you, Ochako." She heard him say, but unlike USJ, she listened. "You better not die or get into another coma afterwards. I love you, Izuku. Come back strong," she said as she carried All Might away, who had lost consciousness at this point. "All for one. You have made a crucial error today. You attacked my loved ones. You killed so many innocents. Know that I do not want to kill you. So I'd really appreciate it if you handed yourself over to police. You and your 𝐻𝗳 do not stand a chance against me, little fool," said a green-haired boy on the news. The 1A students saw it happen. Their classmate once again saved Ochako. The WWPC were in a state of awe as he was the one the 8 spoke of. The powerful green boy with the strongest form of their Keyblade quirks. Every hero in the top 100 was in awe. This boy tanked an attack that even All Might couldn't, all with 2 key-shaped swords. He didn't even flinch. The big 3 were watching in amazement, as the people of the world were now introduced to him. "So what, little boy? I'm the Mstr of Darkness, the Merchant of Quirks himself. Demon King Ifo. You may be strong, but the darkness is far stronger. Kill the boy," roared the villain as thousands of Heartless appeared and surround him. Yet the boy didn't flinch. He didn't run. No, this boy just smiled and said, Well, let it not be said, 𝐴𝐴, that I did not give you a choice. People of the world, I greet thee. I am Izuku Midoriya, adopted son of 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, wielder of the mistook blade. I will become the symbol of light and hope. My power will save this world from the heartless and the demon king 𝐴𝐴. For I am 𝐷𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, the king of keys. Watch now as I stop this villain. Needless to say, people all over were losing their collective SHT at this. Thinking of how doomed they were, and all that stood in this villain's path was a boy no older than 16 with key-shaped swords. But holy hell, did no one but the 8 and UA staff know what just stepped on the battlefield? A boy, yes. A special one with powers unrivaled by any hero. Sighing, Izuku smiled. Let's test my new strength. He suddenly changed his clothes to blue and held only the Oathkeeper. He began firing off magic in every direction as he flew over the ground. Demons were getting destroyed at an insane rate as he then started firing off spells of all the elements. In moments he was halfway through the first wave. Then he laughed and swapped to a yellow set of clothes, regaining his ultima weapon. He rushed through everything in his path, slaying even more at an even faster rate. His swords a blur as he swung them. After slaying the last giant demon, he smirked. That the best you can bring, 𝐴𝐴? To their surprise, 𝐴𝐴 laughed. But then he summoned even more demons to the field of battle. Not even close, boy. See how you handle these ones, each far stronger than the ones before. Yet still the boy smiled fearlessly. Oh my 𝐴𝐴, you really do overcompensate. Must SCK being so small and insignificant. That broke many that night. They laughed for hours once it was over. Well, for your sake I hope that you're not a premature finisher. But I suppose I could go full power. The boy unleashed a mighty roar to the heavens and energy surrounded him. The light given off was bright as the sun. Once it died down, he stood in a white and black outfit. His keyblades floating as he did as well. Final form. This is me at the peak of my powers currently, 𝐴𝐴. So let's play a game. If I kill all these heartless, you will turn yourself in. Deal. 𝐴𝐴 smirked under his mask. Well, of course, little Nat. But you'll never defeat them all, as I can summon even more than these. Said 𝐴𝐴 as more and more showed up as the mighty 𝐷𝐾𝐮𝐴 stood tall and strong. Very well. I will hold you to it even though I know it's a lie. I'll kill every heartless you bring, every single one. He said as he directed his blades all over the battlefield, slashing and using magic. He was a blur that flew through as explosions erupted all over from his magic. No one knows how many he slayed, but all they knew was this kid was going to keep his word and stop Demon King 𝐴𝐴. For over 3 hours he fought and didn't even sweat. He killed so many heartless that eventually 𝐴𝐴 ran out. How are you this strong? Demanded 𝐴𝐴. Izuku smiled. Because I made a promise. A promise to my mother as she died. To become not just any hero but the greatest. My abilities and power come from tragedy. From a society that deemed me unfit to live in it. From my quirk not showing up till I am covered in the scars from the abuse this world places on quirkless. Everyone hated me. Abused me. Bullied me. But 3 people. My mother was dying before I gained my power. I killed a dozen heartless. I saved her spirit, not her body. My aunt and uncle's own son blamed me for that with no cause other than he still thought I was weak. Isn't that right, Katsuki Bakugo, UA traitor? 𝐴𝐴 froze, and the Bakugos who watched on with Katsuki were shocked. The Bakugo family began to lay the smackdown on him as he begged for mercy. How did you know? Asked 𝐴𝐴. Izuku laughed. It wasn't that complex. Of course, having an even greater IQ than my father Nezu made it even easier. He was the only one in UA with a grudge against the school. The moment we were attacked at USJ, I knew the cause was Katsuki. The foolish villain still believed he was a hero. Even as he knew you wanted me captured or dead. He's weak. That's why you used him. 𝐴𝐴 cackled as back in the Bakugo home Katsuki was a shattered mess who was picked up by police shortly after. 𝐴𝐴 spoke. You're right. The boy is weak and arrogant. Definitely no hero. But he served his purpose. So, I suppose it is time I turn myself in. Izuku laughed. Come now, 𝐴𝐴. We both know you won't. Just understand this. My light is powerful. Far more powerful than even you. So if you want to lose, step up to the plate. Test me and see I'm unkillable and my quirk unattainable. You are merely a nuisance causing trouble. I will not kill you, but you will not enjoy what I will do. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 watching from his cell. That diamond Deku stole my dream. F is but up F. He yelled as we see 𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 without legs or 𝐻𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Apparently they did not take kindly to his sins. AFO growled and rushed Izuku, who didn't even show signs of fear. Just stood there as he was blasted in the face by the quirks of AFO in his arm. Is this the limit? The absolute best you can do, AFO? The boy said as the world began to chant 𝐷𝐻𝐼RU all at once. Smiling, the boy said, "Thank you, people of Earth, for entrusting me with your safety. I will tear down this foe and fix this messed up society as well. Now come, AFO. Show me the vaunted powers of darkness you claim to possess. Test me if you dare, but know this will only end with you in pain." In a flash he sliced through AFO, who regenerated and kept attacking, unwilling to bow to this boy's power. For an hour this went on until his regeneration stopped working. Well, 250-year-old Demon King AFO. You have lost to a mere 16-year-old boy. Now have you learned that none of your efforts will ever bear fruit if you follow the path of darkness? Will you change for the betterment of society? Or will you choose to keep fighting and attacking innocent people? FO was irate. How dare one as lowly as you mock me in such a fashion? I despise humanity. I only want them dead and gone. I can easily escape capture. Even from Tartarus. No humans can contain me. No place can hold me. The Heartless shall return and save me from anything. Izuku sighed until 𝐴𝐮𝐿 gave the order to Izuku, who hated what he was about to have to do. People of Earth. I am 𝐷𝐻𝐼RU. I am the symbol of light and hope. But this order today wounds me to my soul. By order of the International Hero Committee, I 𝐷𝐻𝐼RU am ordered to end the life of AFO. To protect the many lives he may take. I hold no anger or pleasure in this. I wish there were another path to take. Farewell, AFO. May you find the light to pass on. He said as tears fell. They could see he was struggling within from the order. He never wanted to kill. Not humans, just Heartless did he wish to kill, as there was no other path. The 8 cried for him. They felt his dread at this. Yet they also understand there is no other way. They poured their hearts into him. As he stood in front of the Demon King Ifo, he raised his keyblades, and with the strength from Ochako and Momo he bellowed, "Trinity Limit." As light erupted from the ground, and once it had passed, the corpse of AFO slowly disintegrated as Izuku cried for being forced to take a life. He was soon surrounded by heroes. They wept for the boy who was just forced to kill. He saved millions of lives today. But at the cost of becoming a murderer. Yes, he did it for the right reasons. But still he took a life, something they all knew would happen eventually, but they were adults. Prepared for this pain. He was just a kid. Albeit overpowered as F, but a kid nonetheless. That night he was reunited with his friends and loved ones. They supported him as he was distraught. In his eyes tears for his action flooded out. No one blamed the boy. He did as ordered. The world saw the pain of his action. It was on his face as the tears fell. The International Hero Committee understood the pain, and for his actions this night he gained a pro-hero license. It was not how he wanted it. But he finally was a full-fledged hero. The staff and 8 wielders took him to the dorms. There would be no welcome back party. Not after what he had to do. They sadly welcomed him and spoke their sorrow for his actions. He felt better having his friends back, but he also felt pain. He tried thinking of ways he could have kept from doing it. But none came. The girls took him to his room as it's on their side, and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 didn't want to intrude on them. They got him sat down, and they let him weep for his friends having to face the horrors of the Heartless. Ochako for getting taken. All Might for his true form being shown. For the way he ended the battle. He apologized so many times as they hugged him. He knew one day he could end up doing that against a villain. The darker side that news never reports. But he didn't think so soon he couldn't sleep that night. He had slept so long already. He sat in the dark room until his father came to him. "Izuku, may I enter?" Izuku was surprised his father was up so late. "Yes, father." Nezu came in and sat with Izuku. I'm so sorry for this, Izuku. You finally came back. You saved 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 like always do, but instead of a glorious battle it became a forced slaughter. It's an unclean side of being a hero, but right now I believe you're replaying it all, aren't you? Izuku sighed. I can understand why I had to do it, but the real me deep inside the me only UA staff, the 1A girls, 𝗧𝗱𝗃 and 𝗛ᴏ. I barely survived that hell I was in, father. Forced to watch me fail to save my mother. Every day. Relive all the memories, the good but also the vast number of the bad. Thankfully I returned because Oka needed me, but I return a killer. I gave my powers to them to prevent any humans dying in this war. But Izuku wept. He has a shield of being invincible. Like nothing ever makes him sad. Or down. But today the entire world watched that shield burst. It's not easy even for adults, Izuku. No child should have had this life you lived. But with all of us here to support you, the real you that's down deep inside your heart, you will become the symbol of light and hope. Don't let what had to be done prevent you from what you wish to be. You did the right thing, yes. But people never think that sometimes the right thing can cause massive harm. You're a kid, almost a man, but still, Izuku, you are young. You can take the time to make up the work you missed. We will not make you start coming back immediately. Especially since you have trauma reliving itself in you. Just know you're not alone. You are loved by many, supported by many. You are a hero, 𝐴𝐻𝐿. I love you as if you were my own, but know your mother loves you, as do your aunt and uncle, the staff and the 8 wielders. They were not supposed to be there, but we will not punish them. They fought hundreds of heartless in an effort to draw them off Uraraka. Without them to slow the flow, you wouldn't have had the time to get here. Aizawa is not happy, but he knew what they did was right. So take your time. When you feel up to it, we will be here for you. Thankful his father was there to help him, even a little would cheer him up. He began to regain his light as today went from amazing to despair. Thank you, father. That means the world to me. I'll come back to classes when I feel ready. Sai, how are the Bakugos handling things? Nezu smiled for a bit but then frowns. They are deeply wounded by what Katsuki did. We see bringing them to UA in order to protect them in case the Lav try and hunt them. I believe they'll be here tomorrow morning. Also, I have a feeling you'll need to speak with Katsuki sometime. Izuku chuckled. He won't like it though, he said as both laughed a bit. Well, so long as he's left a drooling mess on the floor, I doubt anyone will care. But if he is, film it. We have a whole school that wants to see him crying. Izuku was drained by this point. He bade his father good night and got what little sleep he could. Mitsuki and Masaru were devastated at all the destruction Katsuki caused. All because he thinks heroes can do whatever they want without repercussions and that he is a hero. Nothing worked to cure that foolishness. Now they arrived at the school and were placed in 1A dorms. The staff explained who they are and told the students if they cross these two or mistreat them, then they have to deal with a rage-fueled Izuku. It was immediately voted that these are the bestest people of the ever times and don't PSS off Izuku. Izuku, afraid of how they will see him, had to be dragged to them by the 6 female keyblade wielders. Kicking and screaming. Mitsuki smiled a bit at that, then when Izuku was right in front of her she broke. She hugged him with all the strength she had left, which wasn't much. But why couldn't Katsuki ever leave you alone? All the years he bullied you and used his quirk on you before you got that power. The way he blamed you for things he chose to do. But where did we go wrong? The entire dorm was sad for the mother who did her best, yet her son still became a villain. Auntie Mitsuki, you did not go wrong. You and Uncle Masaru did everything you could to counter what he was doing, but he still chose to do it. While I hate what he did, I can sort of understand his viewpoint. In his mind he is a hero. The strongest, bravest, and anyone weaker than him is moot. But he doesn't realize how weak he really is. He will though. As I'm gonna visit him tomorrow. He will learn even if I beat that lesson into him. His little boom booms are nothing to me. He will understand the pain of everyone he hurt. And the mother he despised who loved him and tried her damnedest to raise him proper. I will carry the burden of what I did yesterday for my life. But I will not let him burden you too with his actions. Mitsuki cried as Masaru walked up. I truly wish he knew the amazing person you are, Izuku. Yet he refuses to see you. Only a past version of you with no quirk. I don't know how he became quirkist, as we never mistreated anyone regardless of their quirks or lack thereof. Izuku smiled sadly. Jealousy. Jealous of how you two were with me, and yet he was so rude and hateful to you, and in his mind that made him better. That day in the hospital so long ago when you proved your strength to him was the first time he ever saw you two as anything but weak. That dreadful day when he accused me of killing my mother. It's going to come full circle, and he will see the weak quirkless freak is leagues ahead of his pitiable power. I gave him too many chances. I need to stop his tantrums now and put him in his place. You two will be safe here, and if anyone gives you trouble, let me know and they'll quickly regret it. I love you both, and even though not related by blood to me, you are family. I know mother would not blame you for how Katsuki grew to become. Mitsuki listened as she wept in silence. That last part made her remember 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. She was so kind and caring, yes, a little overprotective, but a very noble spirit. She knew he was right. You're right, Izuku. He even now 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 is within you. All your pains and sorrows. She gives you strength in times of need. Here before me stands 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, the symbol of light and hope. The son of 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, the strongest hero of all. She was right, Izuku. You are special. She loved you with all her heart. If she saw you, she'd be proud of who you have become. They spoke for a while, and the boys helped move them into their room. 𝐻𝐿 had met Bakugo a few times. Yet they were surprised how these two were. Yes, Mitsuki at times blew up or was vulgar, but they never saw it like they saw when Bakugo did it. As long as you treated her with respect, she would treat you with it. Get on her bad side, and not even Izuku jumping into that. Ergo f that 𝐬𝐻𝐿. You see her mad, you ruin. That night Izuku would be hit with a panic attack as he was heading to his room. Luckily 𝐻𝐿 was there and got him inside it. She stayed with him and calmed him down. He enjoyed that. Your shield of humor and being okay is failing more, Izuku. I never will be able to understand what is in your mind from the past, as it's not anything I experienced, but you have the 8 of us to help carry your burdens. Just please let us help you and let us in. Besides, you have a HRM full of CC appealing girls to hang out with, you know. Izuku chuckled at that. Wait, I thought I only had you and 5 fake fiancés. When did I get a real HRM? 𝐻𝐿 chuckled. That's something you'll have to talk with them to figure out. Jiro was talking a lot about the bus ride she had with you. Izuku turned neon red. You mean when she was sitting on my PP and kept grinding it? Why was she talking about that anyway? 𝐻𝐿 grew super blushed at that. Because of reasons. I'm not her, so you ask her. Though she did happen to mention that you're a monster in them shorts. Izuku sighed. That would probably be accurate. Though I thought she was gonna 𝐂𝐿 as hard as she was dry humping me. 𝐻𝐿 initiated balloon MK2. Bouncing around his room, Izuku hopped up and caught her. Just talk to the other 5 girls, okay? Yeah, they asked me to not tell you why, and I agreed, so you got to do it, Mr. Hero 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Izuku groaned. I have a bad feeling about this. When do you want me to talk with them? 𝐻𝐿 shrugged. That'd be up to you and them. Though sooner the better. Izuku sighed. If after dealing with Katsuki I feel up for it, then we can all meet in here or your room, either way. 𝐻𝐿 hugged him and agreed. Just make sure you let us know if you feel up to it tomorrow when you get back. Izuku nodded, but soon the two were so tired they fell asleep holding each other. Izuku woke up with an unfamiliar weight on him. He also felt this weird round squishy thing on his face. Opening his eyes, he damn near had a heart attack. His face was in a pair of melons. And then he remembered last night he and 𝐻𝐿 were talking and didn't remember her leaving. He tried to move yet not wake her. He succeeded in the moving part. Not so much the not waking her up part. Oh no. I have Izuku's head and I'm shoving it in my BRSS. Oh no, what do I do, what do I do? Click. Oh dear God, please no. Both thought, and 𝐻𝐿 got up and they looked at the door. Mitsuki and the 1A girls were snapping pics. Well f. Oh no, what? Squeaked 𝐻𝐿 as she felt something large between her thighs and under her butt. Oh come on. Just one day universe. One day where weird 𝐬𝐻𝐿 doesn't happen, is that too much to ask for? shouted Izuku as the audience and Ochako noticed what that was. Mitsuki embarrassed and not sure what to do. Jiro of course drooling, the 1A girls jealous and drooling, Ochako feeling excited and scared. Jiro was the first to speak. I told you that his thing is Fing huge Oka. Ochako panicked and without thinking hyper muttered rather loud. Omega dai zakuriali has a huge decondium almost in item feels good but what do I? Thwap. Ow who hit me with a diamond belt. She shouted as the 1A girls looked at Momo who whistled and looked away. Yeah. So sneaky genius. Oka, you said all those thoughts out loud and you're still on it by the way. Said Izuku trying not to as she hopped off him. Why are you all still here? Expecting a show. Mitsuki drooling a bit just nodded as all the others did too. Wow. Even you, Aunt Mitsuki. Aren't you married? Mitsuki just kept drooling and nodding. Izuku sighed and decided you know what F it. Walked over to his dresser and told his clothes to F off. Getting naked cause he did not care. They were having a moment and they ruined it. Turning around to see 7 lustful women and they saw everything. Holy F. Little Izu is definitely not little. Said Mitsuki. Ahema thanks now will you all leave, sighed Izuku. The girls wanted to jump his bones but knew what he was doing today so decided to go as soon Katsuki Bakugo was going to lose his I am so perfect attitude today.